You're free to go.
You have to stand up all the time.
Is that finished? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No,
It's
I'm
roughly
just saying.
times on.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll say, they'll open it up to audience participation, and on that item, then you can stand up and go up to the mic and start.
What did you say with the address?
Well, you say your name and your address, but they know what item you're on because they call the item. So they'll call the item, if that's not your item, don't go speak. See what I'm saying? You wait till it's your neighbor's item. That's why you need an agenda to have a show.
No.
She was passing them out to me. What you can.
I can ask her for one.
Yeah, after she's done passing that stuff out. May 13th, it does. Thank you. My phone goes off. Everybody be joking. It's not quiet. So did I. I gotta walk the whole way back. I gotta walk the whole way back. I forgot before I got in there. Yeah. This one's just for nothing. I think you're right. No, I have a whole way across the whole ridge, right across the whole ridge. And then everything, yeah, on Lime, I got soccer, I got soccer. I opened them up around back when I was big.
I thought about going for it.
We've got things every 2 feet.
I'm not gonna go. We're doing a whole site plan approval thing.
No, I just, that's okay. No, that's fine. Okay, so I'd like to call to order a regular meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals for Wednesday, May 13th at 7 PM. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Sakaya.
Present.
Mr. Green.
Present.
Mr. Perry.
Present.
Mr. Lindsay.
Present.
Mr. Watts.
Present.
Mr. Sesser.
Present.
Mr. Jersey's present. Chairman Stovich.
Present.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to excuse Mr. Cliff.
Motion to excuse.
We have a motion by Mr. Jersey, support by Mr. Green to approve Mr. Cliff's absence today. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, that's approved. Takes us to adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Support. Mr. Chair, I'd like to make the following changes to the agenda. I'd like to move item 6 to the May 27th meeting, item 10 to the May 27th meeting, and remove item 14 completely from the agenda, and leave the rest as written.
Support.
So we have a motion by Mr. Jersey, support by Mr. Lindsay to approve the agenda with those changes made. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So any individuals for item 6, which is to iDrive, and item 10, which was Susan Elliott on Christine Street, it won't be, okay, it won't be reposted, so this is only notification for those meetings. Before we move on past this, we are one board member short today. And there are two use variances on the agenda still. So a use variance requires 6 yes votes as opposed to the regular 5, which all other requests need. So I did want to offer the petitioners for items 12 and 13, since they are use variances, whether they want it to be rescheduled or not. Item 12 was applicant Stephen Paris on Sunset, and item 13 is Ferris Golan on Shaner. Do you want to still proceed, even though we're down one?
Yeah.
Okay, and you are, okay. And is Stephen Ferris here? Do you still want to proceed? Okay. Okay. No changes. And we can move on to approval of the minutes.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of February 11th, 2026, March 11th, 2026, and postpone the approval of the minutes for April 8th, 2026, and April 22nd, 2026 to the May 27th meeting.
Support. We have a motion by Mr. Jersey, support by Mr. Assessor, to approve the minutes of February 11th and March 11th, and to postpone the 2 April minutes to the May 27th meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Minutes are approved. Takes us to item number 7.
Item 7, applicant Jonathan Salaka, Representative Jonathan Salaka, common description 24800 Hoover. Variance is requested permission to, 1, conduct a temporary outdoor retail sales operation without a permanent building. 2, conduct a temporary outdoor sales operation in a 30-foot by 30-foot, 900 square foot tent in an area designated for parking from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., June 21st, 2026 through July 6, 2026.
Good evening. Karen Birdie on behalf of Jonathan Salaka, who's to my left. My address is 28225 Mound Road, Warren, Michigan, 48092. At the last meeting, I had quite a few handouts on the table for you. I hope that you brought those, but board member Mr. Sophia wasn't here last time, so I brought the document for you. So my client is proposing a fireworks tent from June 21st, 2026 through 7/6/2026 from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. This tent is located at 24800 Hoover Road. This is the exact same site plan approved by the city for many, many years. It was previously brought by my client's uncle, Pat Salaka, who sadly passed away. My client had worked with Pat Salaka doing the fireworks for many, many years. The petitioner's family does have a brick and mortar business in Warren called Nick's Chips. It's located at 21001 Grossbeck in Warren. And I showed you by Googling it that they in fact have this address in Warren. The shopping center has one store in it, the Value Fresh Marketplace. They do not sell fireworks, and they welcome Mr. Salaka doing it. Like I said, they've been doing it there for years. I would say that I think it's rather important that we have these opportunities for these fireworks tents in the city of Warren, because I think the residents are better served when there are providers where there's competition for prices. If we limit, if you will, the sale of fireworks only from brick and mortar stores, I think you very much limit the competition, and I think at that point you end up with a situation where the residents suffer because there's not competition for prices. As stated, the tent is a 30 by 30 tent. It is secured by 8 water barrels. There are 2 at each corner. Each water barrel weighs 458 pounds each. It's a 55-gallon water barrel. A gallon of water weighs 8.34 pounds. If you take 8.34 pounds by 55, that's 458.7 pounds. If you take that and multiply it by 8, that's 3,664 pounds holding down that tent. But that's not all that's holding down that tent. In addition to that, there are 42-inch steel stakes with 3/4-inch ropes. And those stakes hold the tent down in addition to the water. If we were to use concrete blocks, they're 400 pounds each. The water barrel is 58 more pounds each. This has been the way that the Salakas have secured this tent at this location for years and years and years and have never had an incident. I believe that that is a secure way to keep the tent secured. Now, I'm going to be a little more thorough tonight because I've made presentations about fireworks in the past, and many of the things that I've said, some people have indicated that they want to see some documents. They want to see backup for it. So I took my time this time and I put together the backup documentation for things that I've been telling you for quite some time about fireworks tents. If you guys can all look at this packet, this is the one that has my client's fireworks certificate from the state as the first page. On the second page, I took a screenshot of his application to the state. To apply for this license, he had to provide a site plan that's reviewed by the Fire Bureau in Lansing. He had to provide a floor plan that gets reviewed by the Fire Bureau in Lansing, and that is to make sure it's in compliance with all of the rules that are contained within the Fireworks Safety Act. Once that's approved, he has to provide a sales tax license. He has to show the state that he has the ability to collect the sales tax, 6% to the state of Michigan. He also has to provide a bond, a $5,000 bond. The $5,000 bond is to ensure that he follows the Fire Safety Works Act. If he fails to comply in any way with the Fireworks Safety Act, he doesn't pay his sales tax, he doesn't pay his fireworks safety fee, which is an additional 6%. If he gets a citation by the Fire Bureau, anything that he doesn't do to comply by, and there's a fine in the Fireworks Safety Act, this bond is to ensure payment to the state. So if you turn the next page, we've got the traveler's bond for $5,000. The next page, next few pages, you get to the floor plan of the tent, the inside floor plan. And as I've instructed in the past, there are rules. Where are the fire extinguishers? Thank you, I'm sorry. Where are the fire extinguishers located? How wide are the aisleways? How big are the exits? How many exits are there? These are all just examples of things that get looked at on the floor plan. Then there's a certificate of liability insurance. You have to buy a $1 million policy to get a fireworks certificate from the state of Michigan. The $1 million policy, if you'll look at the bottom, it says, what additional insureds do you want? My client listed AJ Fireworks. He listed himself. He listed the owner of the property. He listed the company that owns the property. He listed Value Fresh Market, but he also listed City of Warren, Michigan. So there's a $1 million policy covering any liability that could happen at that site, and not only does the owner or everybody have coverage, also the City of Warren has coverage. Now, with regard to the other items that I put in the packet, we have the Fireworks Safety Act. And I provided this to you, and I want to point out a couple things in that. And I'm gonna try to be brief, but I wanna show that these are the things that I've been saying, and where did I get these things? I didn't just make them up, they came from the law, and they came from how it's practiced over the years. On page 4, it talks about what you have to do to get a license, and it's all the things I just talked about. That's in the Safety Act itself. Then in the act, it talks about the fireworks safety fee. Let me talk about that for a moment. The fireworks safety fee is not the sales tax. If you sell fireworks, you have to pay to the state of Michigan 6% sales tax. Anything, it's a good, it's sold, 6% sales tax. In addition, there's an additional 6% fire safety fee. That fire safety fee goes to Lansing. It goes into their fireman's fund, and it is distributed by their council for the instruction and training of all firemen within the state of Michigan. Now, how can I say that? On the LARA webpage, this is another document that I put at your table, it says specifically, all fees generated as part of this program are allocated to support the operation of the program and the training of the state's approximate 29,000 firefighters. I have several firefighter friends who have indicated to me that they have been able to take advantage of training that's offered at the state that the city used to pay for and does not pay for now, that there's been more money available for training in this state since the beginning of fireworks than there was prior. And I'll also show you in the law where it specifically says where the money goes and how it's allocated. On page 9, a person who fails to remit the fireworks safety fees as described, the first violation is $5,000 if you don't pay it. Second violation is $20,000. A third violation is $40,000, and you're not ever getting a license again. Now that's on page 9 of the act. Then I'm going to read to you exactly what it says on page 10. 100% of the money received from the fireworks safety fees under Section 8 to be used for the training of firefighters under the direction and approval of the Firefighters Training Council established under the Firefighters Training Council Act. So that's 100% of the fees of the safety fee goes for that. Then I've talked about in the past how obviously you can't sell fireworks to a minor. Well, that's contained on page 10 of the act. The first, and I've explained to you that there's enforcement, that not only can our own police in the city of Warren go and make sure and spot check, if you will, that fireworks aren't being sold to minors, but in addition to that, the state actually sends people in to try to buy fireworks. They use minors to try to accomplish that, and the first fine is $1,000. Every fine thereafter is $2,500, and if you get a second fine, your license is suspended. So you're not going to be selling fireworks for long if you sell to minors. Then I had talked about in the past that the fire marshal or his designee can issue citations, and the authority for that is page 13 of the Fireworks Act. So they have authority to issue citations. They also have authority on page 14 to confiscate fireworks, illegal fireworks. They can confiscate them. You also can't get a fireworks fireworks certificate for sale if you have ever been convicted of a felony involving theft, fraud, or arson. And then lastly in the act, they talk about the fact that the department shall, not can, but shall promulgate rules under this act, and those rules are law. So I gave you a copy of those rules because I wanted to make sure that you had them. Very specifically, I'm not going to go through each thing, But I want to indicate to you that on page 3, it talks about the fact that the State Fire Bureau must inspect the site. That's contained within the rules. It's also important to note on page 4, 5, and 6, these are all of the standards, NFPA this, NFPA that, all of the standards that have to be followed to be in compliance. And these are not just a few standards. Like I said, it takes 2.5 pages to put them. The rest of it, I don't want to sit here and read you the act or act, but I want you to know these further support the things that I've been saying all along, that this is not a fly-by-night operation. People who do the fireworks sales are not fly-by-night. The requirements that they have to follow are quite extensive, and the penalties for not complying are extensive. And they need to be sharp and operate a very clean operation, or they're not going to be in business very long. I have seen people who have not complied with the Fireworks Safety Act or the rules, and they get put out of business very quickly because they can't seem to be in compliance as they should. So why do I make sure that I explain all of that? It's because we have a track record here with the Salaka family. They have been in compliance. They do not get citations. They've never been cited, ever, for failure to comply with what they're supposed to do. And last year, when my client put up his tent, my client was inspected by the state fire inspector, Tom Lyon, Lyon. 2 Warren fire officials came out while he was open 2 separate times. He can't remember the name, but 2 Warren fire officials came out, and in fact spent a great deal of time there on 2 occasions. The electrical inspector from the city also came out and inspected. So as I have said in the past, anybody from the city of Warren who comes out that is an official, we will honor them looking at what they need to look at, having free access to what they need to have free access to, because we're running a tight ship. We're running a compliant ship. So any inspector coming out, we don't have any problem with. We're glad to have them come, and they are welcome. So in short, I will say that not only is the Fire Bureau from Lansing making checks, but definitely in this case, we also have the City of Warren making checks. And I believe that my client runs a very safe and compliant operation, and I would ask you to please approve his petition here tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Birdie. This is a public hearing. Is there any in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Not seeing any, or close the public portion of the meeting and turn it over to the board for questions and discussion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Stefano?
I appreciated the presentation tonight and the extra backup material. I'm familiar with that parking lot. I think it's a spacious parking lot, and I personally don't have a problem or see any issues for this short period of time.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Lindsay?
So thank you for the presentation. I'm not quite sure what firefighter training and sales tax have to do with this variance request. But the way that I view this, and honestly all of these fireworks stands, our job here as a ZBA is to determine if a practical difficulty to comply with the ordinance has been met. I look at this, I don't think a practical difficulty has been met. The presentation that you've given doesn't seem that there's any unreasonable impact or burden to maintain compliance with the property as it is. I don't see that there's anything unique about this property. I believe that, you know, the fireworks stands, how I've seen them in this city, are a detriment to the area. And this is clearly economically driven, so I don't see how I could vote yes on this, so I'm gonna be a no vote.
May I say that that isn't the
I didn't have a
standard of
question.
review for tents? It's not the standard.
Any other questions, discussion, or any motions, or?
I have a comment.
Yes, Mr. Green?
So I'm always curious when items like this come up, and they're specific to the sale of fireworks, but we have numerous other items that come in front of us that are approved. Flower sales, there's a whole bunch of them that we do. So I think if we are strictly going with the practical difficulty standard, I think it can be read either way. And I don't think it's, and we've had this discussion about brick and mortar and all these other different things. We need to have the discussion on everything if we're gonna do that, so it doesn't look like we're being fair across the board. That's my opinion, and I will vote yes on this to approve.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Sofia?
If there's no other comments, I'd like to make a motion. I've approved the other flower stands in town. I personally like, as a Warren resident, being able to go to Warren businesses for things and going to, you know, the outside community. With that, I'd like to make a motion to grant permission to conduct a temporary outdoor retail sales operation without a permanent building, to conduct a temporary outdoor sales operation in a 30 by 30, 900 square foot tent in an area designated for parking from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., June 21st, 2026 through July 6, 2026, because it's not a detriment to the area.
Do we have a motion by Mr. Sofia, support by Mr. Perry, to approve the request for the reasons stated?
Mr. Sofia?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Assessor?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Watts?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Green?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay?
I vote no, I think it's economic.
Mr. Jersey also votes no. I believe it's a detriment to the area. Chairman Ostovich?
Yes. So your request has been approved, Ms. Birding.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Takes us to item 8. Applicant Darren and Michelle Moore, Representative Darren and Michelle Moore, common description 32206 Newcastle. Variance is requested permission to retain widened portion of the driveway from the south front corner of the garage 10 feet towards the south property line.
Is
I'm really struggling, at least I am, I'm really struggling to hear everybody. If you could maybe talk into the microphone a little bit.
Is that better? There we go. Thank you. Sorry about that.
I figure if I'm having problems, other people
I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
And if you could start with your name and address for the record, and then your request.
Hi, I'm Michelle Moore. I live at 32206 Newcastle Drive, Warren, Michigan, 48093.
I'm Darren Moore. I also live at the same address.
And if you want to explain your request today?
Yes, we came here today for a permission to keep a retained widened portion of our driveway. 11 years ago, we hired a company, a licensed contractor, and came down to the city with us to go over a plan to re-pour the cement in our garage, our driveway, and the city sidewalk due to cracks. When we came to the city, we were coming for permits. We retained a permit for, well, first we went over the whole entire project, and the city told us we only needed a permit for our garage, which we received the permit. Then we had the company start our project. First, they had to put the borders in, first they tore out the cement, put the bordering in, had to have a city inspector come out to okay them to pour. The city inspector came out, this was 11 years ago, came out, looked at the city sidewalk, looked at the driveway, looked at the garage, told the company that we had hired that They held the job until they went to the city to show them stamping because of the city sidewalk. The company we hired went to the city, showed the stamping. They had permission to pour. We completed the job. They did the garage, the driveway, and a couple of the city sidewalks. And the first city inspector came out, looked at everything, gave them the okay. The second one came out, and, well, the first one, when he came out, the only thing he told us, we had to have the stamp for the city sidewalk. And he went over everything, said that the driveway was fine at the time, as long as the approach wasn't changed. And there was 10 feet between the driveway and our neighbor's property line. We had the job completed. Another city inspector came out and deemed it as excellent. 11 years later, we've received a variance in the mail for our driveway.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that explanation. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this item? You can also approach and start with your name and address first.
My name is John Pozlowski. I live next door at 32052 Newcastle Drive. I have no problems whatsoever with this pad the way it is. I would suggest to you that the issues that seems to be going around the neighborhood right now, I don't know why they're becoming ahead now, because there's so many different variations on the houses, where the driveways go, where the approaches go, how far back they go, all kinds of things going on. And I would prefer to see vehicles parked on driveways rather than in the street. We have problems in certain areas of the street where people park cars and with trailers and stuff on the street and they never move. We've got one house towards the end of the block, he had one car sitting in his driveway for 22 years that obviously was never being used, and yet the city never came around and did anything about it. And I made a complaint, and he got a ticket, and then I guess about 3 weeks later, the car was gone, but he still has 2 pickup trucks and a trailer there, and he parks his trailer and pickup, which makes it tough, because right by 14 Mile Road, and if you want to get out on the street and you got somebody coming in, or there's somebody parked on the opposite side of the street, it is dangerous. There's no question about it. So again, I would much rather see cars off the street onto parking lots, and we seem to be spending a lot of time worrying about the dimensions of a pad or something like that, which seems a little silly to me. And just as a side note, the city also owns the trees that are in the boulevards. When these trees get knocked over from a storm or something, the city comes and pulls them out. They don't come and replace them. Why? I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
My name is Jonathan Smith. I'm a neighbor far down the block, 32922 Newcastle. I'm also here for the same thing today. It's a very busy street, especially between 2 and 7. I live in that first 4 houses off the corner, and it is dangerous. I prefer my kids to play in a driveway and in the backyard of the driveway, and just think that we need to be focusing on other things. Thank you.
Hello there. My name's Joe Scally. I live right across the street from Darren and Michelle, and I actually appreciate that they are not parking on the street, because when I pull back out of my driveway, cars would be there ordinarily. But since they have their cars on that concrete, it's safer for me. They put a lot of money into their house. It looks good, and I feel that it's actually safer to have them off the street. So now, if he was a backyard mechanic and he was just wrenching on things, it might be a different story. But he's not using it for that purpose. It looks good. I believe it brings up the property value, and I actually appreciate all that they've done. Thank you.
My name is Mohammed Hassan. I live in 32205 Newcastle Drive, just on the other side of the street. I have 3 little boys. I've been living there for 8 years. I've been taking care of my yard. They have a nice yard, right? And then I have little kids, and there's every day there's a bus passes by. Having the car in the in the parking lot, it's better for us, for my kids. I have no objections. It looks beautiful. And if you see how the houses there, it's all beautiful, it's well taken care of. There's absolutely no reason for have them, give this hard time. I really appreciate if you can approve this, not to, make any adjustment for their driveway. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for those comments. With that, I'll close the public portion of the meeting and turn it over to the board for questions and discussion.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Watts?
So I think it's important to answer a few questions. What's going on here? Somebody paved their driveway on another street over, and a stop order was put on them because they went over and above. You only need a permit for the approach and the sidewalk. You don't need to replace your driveway itself. But the driveway has to be, the ordinance is from the edge of the garage to the other edge of the garage. And the gentleman on the other street did the same thing, went way over. He was told not to pour the stop work order. He did it anyways. And this is what brought all this to a head. And we turned him down. He put a shed in without a rat wall on the same concrete, just tons of violations. Violated the ordinance, violated a stop order. And when we said, no, you can't do this because everybody's gonna be doing it. Now, I've drove through the neighborhood 4 or 5 times in the past month and a half since that came down, just knowing this was coming. And he told us at that meeting, I'm gonna go turn everybody in the neighborhood that's got extra driveway. That's why you guys are all here. 28 people he turned in. So thank your neighbor for this, because he violated a stop order and violated the ordinance. It's not rocket science. So this is the problem. And then we have one down the street from you. Hang on. We have one down the street from you, same thing. They went for a permit. They said they didn't need a permit to replace their driveway. Well, not only did they replace their driveway, they doubled the size of it. It's not included in the ordinance. And this is happening all over the city, and people are parking like 5, 6, 7 cars where lawn used to be, turning their driveway, their front lawns in the parking lots. That's why we're here. Now, you guys might not be here had your neighbor been such a kind of guy like, well, if you're gonna get me, I'm gonna get all my neighbors. So you have to understand where it's coming from. Now, as a ZBA member, I'm a former council member, we have ordinances and we have to abide by those ordinances. It's unfortunate that, you got caught. I don't know why. I don't understand and hear why you didn't get caught when they approved the sidewalk and the.
Yeah, we had 3 city inspectors.
The
approve it
approach.
Before it was poured. We would have never poured it if they told us otherwise.
Okay, so this is where we're at. Now, we can't deny one, another one got denied, it's 2, so there's gonna be a problem. I can't go for this, because it's getting bad.
Well, then what is the point of coming here?
Point
if
of
you
order.
can't
Mr.
make
Chair.
Well, the thing is this was 11 years ago for us.
It's our portion now, okay? So that's how, I wanted you to know how we got here, and the people that spoke.
We know how we got here. I
You
mean,
know?
We think it's ridiculous.
So, the city inspectors are doing their job now and enforcing it, so then the alternative is to come to a variance. And, we have, as city people, a committee or commission, it's our job to stay on top of the ordinances. If we let one go here, and then one gets over here, and everybody, see, this is what's happened. Everybody's over there saying, oh, Joe's got that, I'm gonna do that too. Sam's got one, I'm gonna do that too. And everybody goes another 6 inches, everybody goes another foot. To me, it's a detriment to the area. And I understand what your neighbors are saying about the.
11 years ago is when that should have been taken care of, not.
I'm not gonna argue with you about that, because I I understand.
Okay, we went
I
to-
find this is a detriment to the area, and I'm gonna be a no vote. I can't approve this kind of stuff.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Green?
So, this is getting kind of complicated. And please understand, ordinances are laws of this, they're the laws of the city. They're actual laws. Like, for example, in theory, if you went to sell your house and you were in violation of an ordinance, like, let's say this one in particular, a mortgage company might not approve your mortgage, so you become compliant with the law. There's a lot of things that laws have baggage that come with them, but that's not the motivation for what's happening. Somebody turned it in, and that's a whole nother story. And the part of the motivation at the beginning was, you have to picture this in your mind, we had people act literally paving their entire front yards, not just what you guys have done, which 1 million people in the city of Warren have done. We've had people who paved their entire front yards. And what they were doing was they were running businesses out of there, and the neighbors weren't happy about it, or they were having multiple families live in their house. So at that time, it became an issue with where are we at and where are we going with this. I personally think that a lot of the confusion is a result of what you guys are saying. Your permit was to have your garage poured. And then people, no, I'm not asking a question, I understand. And it's confusing to a layperson, you only do it once in your life, so it's not like you have a lot of experience doing it. I think we should require a permit for the driveway. And that way, because right now, it's kind of confusing. So I don't have to get a permit for my driveway. I have to get a permit for the apron because the city owns it, and for the sidewalk. And then I think people think, well, then the inspector comes out and says, that looks great. What he meant was, that looks great, because you didn't have to pull a permit for it. So I think as we move forward here, and I'm gonna try to straighten that out in a second, that one of the things we need to do, and I don't know if you can or you can't, is to require permits for driveways. And that way, the person can say to you right there, you can't do that or you can do it.
Pre-1995,
So-
Warren required permits for driveways.
Well, that's good to know, but it doesn't now. So I'm not trying to argue with you or debate with
Oh,
you.
no,
I'm
I
just
was
trying
just
to,
backing you with
I
what
know,
you were
but this
saying.
is really kind of, we're just supposed to do this. So, I'll give you an example. At the last meeting, we had people voting based on what they thought about the existing ordinance. The existing ordinance is what it is. I mean, at this particular point, there's not a heck of a lot we can do about it. So what I am suggesting is this. And I don't know how they're gonna particularly handle what we do here on whether we deny or approve your variance. I'm sure there's gonna be an answer for that. But I think what we need to do is, I think we need this body, and our attorney will be the person who would do it. I think we need to send a letter to council explaining that we've had numerous driveway complaints that come our way as a result of this particularly new phase of people cementing their entire front yards and parking their work vehicles and having multiple families and stuff. I asked Steve today to get a number for the letter of how many people in the last year, Steve Waterpond, have come to us with driveway problems. And then I want the city council to look at the ordinance to see if there's anything that needs to be changed. And I want them to see why we're not requesting permits for driveways, because it is a source of confusion for homeowners. And then the attorney can draft that letter, and that letter can be to council. And then council, whatever the process is, to contact plan. I don't know, it would go from there to planning or whatever. But I think we, as a body, need to send a letter to council saying, look, we're sitting here in front of people who've had driveways for 20 years, tell them they can't have them. Because in theory, unless, those practical difficulty standards, if you don't, it's a law. So we need a pretty good reason to say you can keep it. So I personally don't know if there is an answer, if the ordinance can be changed to to accommodate everybody. But I've seen a lot of people who have basketball poles for their kids, and they want to add a couple feet, and, we've approved some people who've had handicapped children who need extra spaces and stuff. There are situations where there can be some leeway. Our problem is, Warren's, the little residential house community. So, to keep that residential look is, I think, a part of this particular ordinance that's in the books now. We have a driveway, and the argument parking in the street is not, I understand what you're saying, but it's not the argument that's gonna win the day for you, because people have been parking, I know it, I'm in the same boat you guys are. I live on a street where people are flying out of this condo place, and I park on the street because I have 2 cars in the driveway. And a lot of people use their garages they store stuff in it, so there's not a lot of room. It is a problem. So that's why I'm gonna request, and I don't know if we need a vote on this or not.
Probably under new business or something.
So, under new business, I'll be requesting a letter be sent to council, and our city attorney can draft a letter based on our comments to her during, new business. And in the meantime, I don't know how the administration wants to handle this in the meantime. But in the meantime, I think what they have to be careful of is, this is complicated. We have a city ordinance that specifically says the authority of the building department limitations. And I want to read this into the record, so it's pretty clear where we're coming from, because we weren't born yesterday. Under no circumstances is the building department permitted to make changes to an ordinance or to vary the terms of any application or any applicable ordinance in carrying out the duties of the building department. Nor shall the building department be permitted to grant exceptions to the actual meaning of the ordinance. So that's pretty clear that the ordinance we have, we have to work with it until we change the ordinance. So the answer is to change the ordinance. Hopefully after we vote on this, whether you're denied or approved, to listen to me, hear me what I'm telling you. Whether you're denied or approved, I have to vote to deny. It's a city law. The bigger problem is, there's some people out there who are pricks, who are turning people in when they know it's just to be mean. And that's not the purpose of what we're trying to do up here. So we're gonna try to solve your problem, but we can't solve your problem today. And solving your problem is not gonna be as easy as it sounds, because we got multiple layers of government in there. But we're not gonna sit here today and I'm gonna vote to deny, but if you get denied, that doesn't mean we're not gonna sit here and try to solve your problem for you. So I think you need to sit back. I talked to Steve Waterpont today, and he gave me some ideas about, maybe having some administrative leeway and I don't know if I'm for that or not, but coming out and saying, well, you don't have to get a variance if you add 4 feet for your basketball pool. But you can see where that opens up. So where's the cutoff? Is it 4 feet? Is it 6 feet? It has to be thought out really well for us to change the ordinance. And I want to keep in mind that the building department has, an ordinance says that they got to carry out their duties as the building department, because it's the law. So, it doesn't meet the practical standards as we sit here today, and that's how I'm gonna try to solve the problem for people and make it at least realistic. But we're not allowing people to pave their entire front yards. We're not allowing people to put 10 or 12 feet unless they can prove a practical difficulty. And that's what a variance is for. So it's disappointing that you've had it for 10 years and now it's come up. That's not that's out of our control. I mean, we didn't do it to you. Someone else did it to you. You need to understand, you need to appreciate that. So, did I make any sense?
You made absolute sense.
All right, then I'm done.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair. Yep.
Go ahead.
Give-
Mr. Safado?
But, you know, my comments on this, I have a different view. The function of this board is to evaluate the unique circumstances of each item independently without precedent of others. I'm looking at the Google image of this house. Unlike some of the other petitioners that we have seen with small yards, this is a wide lot, and the driveway is done tastefully, in my opinion. It's been there for 11 years. If this was a criminal case or a civil case, there's usually a statute of limitations, which, in my opinion, is far exceeded. Not to mention, a building permit was pulled for the garage floor. Now, I know the building permit, the inspector comes and looks at the garage floor. But in my experience with the inspectors in Warren, they're very thorough. And that little piece that is allegedly not part of the, garage floor permit, it's right out in the open. It's not some little inconspicuous thing in their backyard. So in my mind, if the building inspector was out there 11 years ago, he saw that the sidewalk slab was new, just like the garage floor. If there was a problem, 11 years ago was the time to address it, not now. So this is definitely a yes vote for me. I evaluate each one of these driveway extensions individually based on the uniqueness of the lot. Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Jersey?
Both my colleagues bring up great points. To Mr. Safaya's point, we do need to evaluate each one on an individual basis. There's a few of you have been on the board when we had pre-existing conditions where a homeowner bought the house with, said side, cement poured to the side or whatever. They wanted to put up a shed, and all of a sudden this got red flagged unbeknownst to them. We've passed stuff like that in the past, but I fully agree. I mean, every property is unique, but we all kind of have a good argument with this. When you grant this, it goes with the land forevermore. There's no reverse. So, say you have good intentions with it, doesn't mean somebody else will come in, not start a landscaping company and just put trucks. I'm trying to do devil's advocate for some of my board members who feel like it's, so not to say it's currently being that way, but it could potentially, maybe down the road, somebody sees, oh, I got some room here, and I could put multiple trucks in here. This would be a good house to buy for my business. To Mr. Green's point, since our last meeting, I've been doing some thinking about absolutely what you just said about sending this to council. We take a vote as a board, come up with some kind, some kind of unanimous vote to send it back to council for review. Because just like I stated last meeting, we could have one of these a meeting for the next 20, 30 years with as many as there are in this town, and it's not just your neighborhood. And I also feel, I want to put on the record too, we need to stop being a complaint-driven city. That just puts neighbor against neighbor, tit for tat, makes living conditions awkward for people who invest, to live in the city of Warren. We need to be more proactive with either this current administration, next administration. We need to be more proactive instead of all of a sudden, oh, I gotcha. And that to me is no way to operate, indefinitely. I do like the idea of putting, having the permitting for a driveway. That was a good thought. I think there's been a lot of good thoughts on this board, from whatever angle you want to approach it with. But to Mr. Green's point, we're kind of bound by the law, and also to Mr. Safaya's point, got to take everything on a case-by-case basis. I live in that area. That street is busy. There's big buses that go down that street. It's a bus route. It has the cutouts on the street, which actually make it nice, so it's not an absolute drag strip going up and down there. I remember when my dad bought the house, he says that was one of the cool things he thought about Newcastle was it had kickouts where you didn't have to worry about people drag racing up and down the street. But there is, from our perspective, at least my perspective, there's no easy solution with this. It is tastefully done. I do agree with Mr. Safaya. I do agree with Mr. Watts and Mr. Green. So, you know, I'm kind of torn in half with what to do here. So, I also agree too with what we discussed last meeting, you know, with Mr. Chairman Nestorovich's comment, where maybe we grandfather in a certain length. And I don't know what the answer is, but that's going to be for council to try and reevaluate and maybe relook at this through a different set of lenses and come up with a solution that fits. So with that, I'll yield the floor.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, yes, Mr. Lindsay.
I guess first of all, is my mic on? There it is. I've been having a hard time hearing myself talk, so I apologize. So just to kind of echo some of the comments that my fellow board members make, I think you guys are in a really tough spot, and I do feel really bad. This really puts the board in a tough position. The way that I would look at this, I mean, the unfortunate circumstances you guys have had that driveway, but had the proper processes been followed, you guys request a permit, it would have been required to get a variance on it, and it probably would get denied. This is something that the board hasn't really favored, and now we're seeing, you know, kind of people coming to the board after the fact and kind of saying, well, we've had it, so can we get the variance? But if it would have went through the procedure the first time, the variance would probably get denied before you guys poured the concrete. So I feel bad for you guys. I don't know how this is happening in your neighborhood just suddenly. It kind of sucks for everybody involved. I think the board members are included in that. You know, I kind of look at this. I will be a no vote. You know, I look at the building permit. I mean, the building permit specifically for the garage floor, how the concrete gets poured past that 11 years ago, I don't know. That's not really what we're here to decide. You know, I see this again, looking at the practical difficulties. If this was put up for a variance before concrete was poured, I'd vote no on it then. So I'm going to continue to vote no on it today. I just really want you guys to understand where I'm coming from, so that when I do vote no, you at least understand why. It's an unfortunate no vote for me. Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Watts.
So, well, I want to go back. I want one of the inspectors to come up if they can too, because I got a question for them. But I want to go back to a comment that one of the gentlemen made from the other side of the room there about the place with the trailers. They put the pad in. They're running a business out of there with the trailers and what have you. That's the kind of problem we're faced with, because that guy is definitely out of. Oh, he's out of code. Either way, I understand.
And he doesn't have an extension on his driveway.
So yes, he does. On the one side, yeah.
Does he?
Yeah, because I looked at it when I went by, and
Driveways.
yeah, and it's just, I'm like, are you kidding me? Because I would lose my mind if that was on my street, so, you know, and the thing of it is, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna say it again. You know, somebody moves in, they're like, oh, look, those nice people over there, they extended their driveway, I'm gonna do it. And people just do it, and then we find out later on, and that's a problem. I mean, I get it, you guys are in a bad situation, but Steve, can you come up? I got a question.
I would have never
Or, I don't know, they might be able to answer it too. But what I'm wondering, so my question is,
Point of order, this is a public meeting, we can't be talking over, we can't be taking questions from the audience. If someone wants to speak, they need to approach the podium, they need to get permission from the chair.
So Mr. Watts has a
so,
question for.
so Mr. Watchpoint, my
Yes, sir.
question is, I can't really tell by looking at the picture, and I don't think it's on this print, but how close is the edge of that concrete to the property line? Is that conforming to the ordinance of how close we can be to a property line on something?
As far as the cement, it is far enough away for a setback.
Okay. Okay, thank you, that's all I got.
Any other?
Mr. Watts?
Yeah.
That's a good point you raise. Mr. Watchman, I'm sorry, I missed that. The ordinance is that the driveway cannot extend past the sidewall of the garage?
The sidewall of the garage is what the ordinance is, what it allows.
Okay.
Engineering only allows to the length of the opening of the garage for the apron. Zoning allows it to the garage.
Okay, now what about homes where the garage is, you know, perpendicular to the drive? How are they?
Where it turns?
Yeah,
Basically, you allow a turn radius, but it's not more than the width of the garage for the approach on that.
okay. Because there's some homes on that street on the Google image where there's a wide turn into the garage. Now, obviously, the drive is the same width as the opening of the garage door.
Once you get past the edge of the house, it can go wider too. So that's mostly where you got your turn.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or any motions?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Watts?
There's no further questions. I will make a motion to deny, to retain a widened portion of the driveway from the south front corner of the garage, 10 foot towards the south property line. And I feel it wasn't a burden, it was self-imposed. The property is not unique. I feel it's a detriment to the area, and it wasn't necessary.
Support. So we have a motion to deny by Mr. Watts with support by Mr. Assessor for the reasons stated in the motion. So it's a yes vote to deny.
Mr. Watts?
Yes to deny, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Assessor?
Yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Safaya?
No, I believe the practical difficulty standard has been met.
Mr. Jersey also votes no. I believe the practical difficulty standard was met. And Chairman Nestovich?
I also vote no because I agree with my previous two board members. So unfortunately, your request was denied with a 5-3 vote. So I guess for your next steps, maybe if you want to talk to the building department, I know we, under new business, can address Mr. Green's suggestion, but for tonight, your request has been denied.
Okay, so what do we do from here on out?
I-
Because I received that letter saying that it was $1,000 fine a day. I can't even afford to tear it out right now.
I would say,
see
go
Steve.
see Steve Waterpont, and he could actually explain all that to you.
Okay.
Because 11 years ago, when an inspector saw something
Mhm.
that wasn't supposed to be, and didn't say anything about it.
No, I understand, but
You know,
unfortunately for,
That's a better time to say it before we pour the cement, which I would happily not pour and save a lot of money.
no, I understand. But you could talk to Steve, and he can actually help address next steps
Okay.
and.
Thank you for your time.
Takes us to item number 9.
Item 9.
Um,
No.
Not at this time.
Item 9, applicant Jessica
during-
and Jonathan Smith. Representative Jessica and Jonathan Smith, common description 32922 Newcastle. Variance is requested permission to retain the widened portion of driveway that extends 12 feet 11 inches from the southwest corner of the garage toward the south property line.
So if you could start with your name and address and.
Jonathan Smith, 32922 Newcastle.
Jessica Smith, 32922 Newcastle.
and-
It's got a green light. There we go.
And then
You
take
guys
us
are.
through your request.
What was that?
Yeah, if you could explain your request.
Yeah, we're pretty close to the corner. It's a very dangerous street, like I said. I've had a car parked and hit. I've had a car stolen from the driveway. It's been very rough. We've had people try to break in and wife barricaded in the house, and the police say, call your husband. This is a very unique situation. We did this 6 years ago. We were under the understanding that you can have a driveway or a trailer in your backyard. How do you get a trailer in your backyard? You drive it over muddy grass? Well, how can we get the trailer out? We could only fit 2 cars in our driveway. We have a 4-bedroom house. So we did expand it and we checked with the company. The company said no permits were needed from the sidewalk as long as we don't touch the apron. to the garage. But we're allowed to have trailers, correct? Which would be parked in the backyard. How do you get to the backyard? So I went to the board 3 times, or not to the board, I'm sorry, to the city 3 times before I got a little bit of clarification. And they were talking that you can't bump out the garage or the side driveway unless you were a certain feet in front of the front of the garage. And that was with Suzanne, which was the lady who wrote the ticket, and somebody else. So we were told at the very worst, we're gonna have to cut some of the driveway out, but not the whole thing. And the trailer was only for recreational use. We're weekend warriors, we like to go up north and have a good time. And we got cited for the trailer after we built the garage, 2 years. And when I went in to figure out what it was, I thought it was the driveway. I was upset with the company that did the pour of the concrete. He said, no, it is not the driveway. It is your trailer is parked too close to the back of the house. It was in the backyard behind the fence, but the tongue and a little bit of it was still too close to the house, is what they said. So we said, okay, it's not the driveway, but we have to get the trailer out. We're now on our 3rd year paying to have the trailer stored, which we didn't build the driveway until we just did it in a way to make it make sense and reasonable.
Can
So
I interject real quick on the trailer? Do you mind? Okay, so when they came out and cited us 2 years ago for having the trailer too close to our house, they said nothing about our driveway at that
they
point in
said
time.
the driveway was okay when I went in, actually.
So we now pay $800 a year after pouring our driveway, being told that there's no permit needed, which what I would suggest when you're gonna make your recommendation is like permit and zoning should be like one thing. Because as a citizen, if we're told that we don't need a permit, we have absolutely no idea what 4.06 means.
And it doesn't make sense. If you read that to me, it doesn't say anything about any of
Any
that.
average citizen, in my opinion, would not be able to comprehend that that means you cannot expand your driveway. Just saying, you might wanna clarify that.
The com-
Go ahead now.
The company is reputable. They've been in Warren for 30 years.
I-
They do Warren business. We
Yeah.
sent them over. If you look at it, we did widen it. And when we had the concrete to be poured, we had it smaller, but when he clarified that we didn't need to do anything permit-wise, it made sense to get the trailer around the corner, like you back up on an angle. It's a blind spot. To get a trailer back there is crazy.
So we did it as conservative as we could in order to get our driveway, so we could get the trailer into the backyard, into the side of the house.
So this ticket came on March 3rd, or the first,
The letter in the mail.
actually, someone came to our house on March 3rd. We had over over $10,000 worth of water repair done. We were leaking basement. So the gentleman comes on the 3rd and says, final grade not approved. He gave me a card, which I believe was Don Jarvis, but we got a bunch of cards from the few trips we took up there to try to get an understanding, and nobody knew what was going on. Nobody. We all got pushed into this variance. We didn't ask to be in the variance. So when I went up there, when I got the citation, or 3 days after that, we got the letter in the mail saying the same date as this disapproval. So I thought that it was all connected. So I went up to the city, and I don't know how you guys are hitting us on both sides. This was a final grade, March 3rd. The frost froze and it fell down this much. I still have like 15 grand worth of work to do to fix my house. The company will not answer my calls. They won't respond to me because you guys are denying them. They don't want to work with me anymore because you guys did a final grade for 3 inches. The good thing was when we built the driveway, we went ahead and put a garden. Me and my family spent a long time building the garden. A lot of dirt brought in so we can have nice things. I have no idea what happened. Nobody got a hold of us. Nobody talked to us. Company hasn't reached back out. So I took care of it myself. I disassembled my garden because we have to get our patio done because it is uneven, crazy, and it's dangerous. It was like that when we got here. I spent a couple days trying to fix it a few years back. It's time to get done. So we're like, all right, we're gonna save up, get the patio done, and get the driveway corrected so that we can put our trailer in the backyard. And then we get the citation for that. We are getting hammered every which way, robberies, every which way, and there's no leeway anywhere. And we were told, we were almost assured that going through this process was our remedy. We are seeking a remedy. Cutting up the driveway, what?
Can I say something?
We may have made a mistake somewhere along the line, but we have been misled too. And I'm at a loss for words.
I would like to say, if I can speak as well, that I understand your guys' position. It's very unfortunate that this one person came and got denied, and the associate of the city that did it, may I add, in which we submitted the documents to her, so she told us she would help us, either got quit or fired within a 1-week period, and then we received a court date. This woman.
By the way, she has concrete missing on her sidewalk into her front porch and in her driveway, open, no concrete at all.
Regardless, it seems like
plywood.
a bigger issue for you guys to come through and deny 30 people. And like the gentleman said, if you look at our block, there are so many, it's not cookie cutter. There is a dozen houses where their driveways face north and south. There's people that have circle driveways and a driveway.
Multiple.
2 of them. We have a very wide yard as well. We have a lot of grass. We maintain it. We've done a ton of work. And I just think the one issue should have maybe been settled with that person and the employee, instead of now, what is your neighborhood gonna look like in the property value? You make 30 people rip up their driveways.
There's garages on that street that face the back of the house.
They literally have a
behind the house.
parking
The driveway
lot.
goes from the sidewalk down the edge of the property, all the way to the back of the property line so they can get in their garage. The whole entire thing, they can fit 20 cars in their driveway. We can fit 2 before we expanded it. Now I can fit 3 and maybe force 4. It's not for business. It's for my kids to have a safe place on that corner. It's for me to take my 2 kids to school and not have to move a different vehicle to get this vehicle out because my other vehicle only fits 2 people. It's my property. Last year we paid for the sidewalk, for the city sidewalk. You guys come and tell us we gotta pay for the sidewalk.
$800.
Sure, we paid the sidewalk, put our trailer in storage. What do? You guys come on our property this year, our property, I guess we don't have property rights. And you guys are demanding that we cut up our driveway or we're $1,000 a day. It doesn't make sense. Something is wrong with the situation. And I'm gonna keep digging around. I don't know what else to do. All we wanna do is have our 3 cars in the driveway and live our life. We don't mess with nobody. We pay our taxes that are almost as much as our mortgage. It'll only take them 1 more year or 2, and my taxes will be as much as my mortgage. You guys we get hammered everywhere we go, all the way through this. I've lived in Warren my whole life. Never had any issues, ever.
It's just a very unfortunate situation because we're hardworking people and we're just trying to raise our family. Like legit, we pay $7,400 a year to live in the city of Warren, have had an escrow shortage every single year. When that man tried breaking into my house, and I know it has nothing to do with this, but I just feel like everybody's
What needs to be
resources
focused on.
can be done better. I was told by the 911 operator to hang up the phone and call my husband. A police officer didn't show for an hour and a half. I was in the house alone with my 3 children.
Barricaded in a room.
That is what we need to focus on. I understand you guys are in a hard position, but I don't think you should be holding hearings when all you can do is deny it based on the variance.
And we were pushed into this process. The first time I went there, the gentleman, I believe his name is Gary, which is the guy I was told to get a hold of for the non-approval, he chuckled and said, "Boy, you got yourself in a mess on this one." He said, "Here, take that letter," which if you read it, it's not properly spelled. It doesn't make any sense. He said, "Put your name on here. We're gonna make a copy, and we'll get in touch with you." Okay, and then I go to the city because my water tank is leaking a week afterwards. I go there. I'm acquiring to do it for myself because I can't afford to pay the $2,000. Big runaround. I just lost my train of thought, but
You don't wanna pull a permit to fix the water heater.
I haven't pulled the permit because I got this non-approval. I got you guys breathing at me about this one. I would rather clean up water on my floor than to deal with public stuff. It's not my thing. We had all this other work we had to get done. We put everything on hold because of this situation. And now there's no outcome. We're still in limbo.
I just think to hold any more of these hearings is a waste of anybody's time, because all that's gonna happen is everyone's gonna keep getting denied.
And he said it last week, and he said it again this week.
When we were here
But
for
you
our
guys
other
took
neighbor,
checks. And
right,
We were told to come here for this. We were told that we were gonna be, all of us were gonna be brought in a room together, and we were gonna go through this because this was a big problem. I was told by all these people, the people behind the counter had no idea. They were upset, visibly angry. Said, "Don't you tear your driveway out. You fight, you fight." This is what your employees were saying to us. Not yours, but people behind the engineering desk.
yes.
It went on and on. It was the third time. Suzanne, I called her on a Thursday. Her thing said 2 days to get a hold of you. So Monday, she called me back. I'm at work. I'm like, I don't know what to do about this. I'm trying to figure it out. She's like, well, if you come right now, I'll help you. I said, well, I can't come right now, but I work by myself. I said, okay, fine. I'll be there at 12. I go there, and all she did was, she told me this, but she led me to believe she was gonna help me understand the paperwork. She said, fill this out, make these measurements, and then I'll postpone your court date. She'll put a hold on the court date. Fine, that's okay. So we did that, sent it to her that night. It was a week, we heard nothing. We called back, sorry, I don't work at the city of Warren no more. No, nothing. What do we get the next day? Appearance in court. No matter what we do, we're getting shut down and nobody knows what's going on. And all we're doing is chasing our tail. Yesterday was my 14-year wedding anniversary. I spent the night preparing for this after kids' baseball practice. It's crazy. We're missing our kids' first baseball game today. This is silly. This is silly. If we did make a mistake, can you guys write us a fine? It was not intentional. We thought we did our due diligence. When we do everything else, the company says whether we need a permit or not. That's what we go on. I didn't know that I'm supposed to do that with every single thing. I thought the business would be the one that would be held liable for something like that. They led us to believe. I guess that's all we got to say. We already know what you guys are going to say to us, but it feels good to get that off my chest because I've been sitting on it for, I don't know, since March 3rd.
Thank you.
Thank you for that explanation. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Please approach and start with your name and address.
John
and then your comments.
Kozlowski, 32052 Newcastle. I'm just watching this whole thing here, and I'm amazed. This is supposed to be a committee of adjustment, right? It's not a committee of the laws can't be changed, they are the way they are, and nothing can be done about it. It's a committee of adjustment. You have to have some common sense here a little bit. And the way things are going here, it seems that the attitude is, okay, we'll just cut up all these driveways, put all these cars in the street, and have chaos, absolute chaos in the neighborhood. You say that you're doing this to keep up the standards of the neighborhood? No, you're not. You're not keeping up the standards of the neighborhood. These are pieces of property that have 100-foot frontage. It's not like it's all jammed together, okay? And you have, when these subdivisions went in the 60s, you didn't have 3 and 4 cars in a household, which is very common today. And yet nothing seems to change. It's like, okay, this is the rules, it's black and white, and don't step out of line because I'm not happy with that. You're talking about they should have gone for Michelle and Darren should have gone for an adjustment for something that wasn't that a permit wasn't required. How do you get an adjustment on something that doesn't require a permit? And then you're going to deny them because you say you didn't get a permit, you didn't get an adjustment. There was no permit that was necessary at the time. But yet nobody seems to recognize that. That's all I got to say.
Hello, my name is Chantel Burt, and I live at 32548 Newcastle. I was here before. I have gone to a meeting with the mayor to sit down with the mayor to try to come up with some resolution with the mayor. And again, getting the runaround, we're looking into it. I would personally like to see the mayor, zoning, and the council try to sit down and work together, because again, in making phone calls, we're still getting misinformation. One neighbor is getting $1,000 fine. Well, several neighbors are getting a $1,000 fine, where one neighbor is getting a $200 fine. Some neighbors are being told that they're grandfathered in, where we're being told nobody is grandfathered in. So it's still misinformation. So there's no clarity in even reaching out to the city's legal department. So I think that all of the entities need to work together to try to come up with a resolution, instead of us coming here, you know, in this public forum where you guys are clearly saying that you have to abide by the rules, and we get that, we understand that, but we need a resolution other than getting misinformation, because that's all we're getting. I've emailed the mayor, I went to that meeting with the mayor, people are telling me they're gonna call me back, city employees have given me their cards, and then when I call back, then nobody's responding, nobody's answering. So, like, we have no direction, we don't know what to do, and even if somebody could tell us some direction, because all of the government entities haven't sat down to come up with a resolution, we don't know who to listen to. We don't know what it is that we should be doing. I'm asking the mayor directly, should we be worried about getting these $1,000 a day fines until we come up with a resolution? If you're saying that at some point you gotta rip your driveway up, so how do we save money to rip up a driveway when you're saying you're gonna charge us $1,000 in fines every day? One of my neighbors was absolutely given a fine. She paid the fine. Her fine was only $200. And then they said, oh, you're grandfathered in. We're gonna give you your money back. So who's grandfathered in and who isn't? Like, we need some real clear direction. Thank you.
My name is Dan Prater, 32903 Cambridge Drive. Is anybody in this board in our neighborhood? Does anybody in this room not want a driveway installed in the neighborhood? Isn't this about the people in the neighborhood? Not necessarily a board. The letter that we received, I received one too. It was very traumatizing. I received it on a Friday. I showed up as early as I could on a Monday. Extremely traumatizing to my wife and I. Our driveway has been in existence for 15 years. They literally carpet bombed our neighborhood because of one person. The correct decision would have been to correct that person. We're all here because of the decision that you made. And now you're making decisions to cover up the first decision, okay? I don't have an appointment here, but I'm here to speak as a citizen and as a neighbor of this neighborhood. There's nobody in this room that I know of that would deny having a driveway in our neighborhood. I'm good with it.
I'm good with it.
So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for all those comments, Mr. Jersey.
Yeah, we have 3 things to read into the record.
I'm back up. Yes, it is kind of a ridiculous thing, and I'm sure we all know this because we are told, pay $90, come here, and you may be able to keep it. But we're told, oh, well, the law is the law. Well, then what's the point of coming before the board if that's all they're going to say is the law is the law, so we can't go, well, okay, we understand your circumstances. And then say, oh, okay, well, we'll allow it because it's been 11 years. We'll allow it. It's been 10 years. We'll allow it. It's been 20 years.
So with this, our close the public portion in the auditorium here, and Mr. Jersey, you've got a couple items to read in.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. This is from a Douglas and Christine Berg who reside at 32921 Newcastle. It says, to whom it may concern, please find and attach our letter in support of the driveway expansion at the residence of Jessica and John Smith located at 32922 Newcastle. As neighbors who live directly across the street, we wanted to share our positive experience and express our full support for the improvement. The driveway expansion has been in place for approximately 6 years, has been well maintained, and has been a positive addition to the appearance of the neighborhood. Thank you for your consideration. Next one is, I believe it's from, did you guys submit
I
an
just
email?
submitted extra stuff in email, just
Okay.
that I didn't originally
I will-
submit. You don't have to read it, but.
I can read it into the record, that's fine.
Okay.
So this is from Jonathan and Jessica Smith, who reside at the said address, 32922 Newcastle. Says, to whom it may concern, we appear in front of the zoning board
Oh, that was for us.
tomorrow.
That's
We-
not to be read.
Is that
That's
you
not
get?
to be read.
I
That
was
was
just-
for
Sure.
me. Yeah,
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I asked you. That was just for me to have some talking points.
Okay, gotcha. Basically, I think he
I
covered
hammered
pretty
all
much
those.
everything that's in here.
No, it wasn't that.
And then
It-
some.
It was just the notice of how many different properties on there, the copies of the business cards
Yep,
that we
we
have
got all that.
received.
Yep.
And then just another image of the property, because
We have.
we didn't originally submit that.
And those
Got it.
cards were just to show the clarity that
Yep.
we were given.
All right, thank you, folks. So the next one is from Leanne Jones, who resides at 32933 Newcastle. She writes to the zoning board, I am writing in support of my neighbors, Jessica and John Smith, regarding the driveway expansion at their home. I have lived across the street from Jessica and John for several years and have always found them to be respectful, considerate, and responsible neighbors. Their home and property are exceptionally well maintained, beautifully cared for, and are a positive addition to our neighborhood. They take great pride in their home, and it clearly shows in the appearance and upkeep of their property. The driveway expansion that was completed approximately 6 years ago has never created any issues or concerns for me or, to my knowledge, for the surrounding neighbors. It has blended naturally with the property and neighborhood and has not negatively impacted the appearance, safety, or character of the area in any way. In my opinion, requiring them to go through this process after so many years seems unnecessary, especially considering the care they put into maintaining their property and being good neighbors to those around them. Jessica and John are exactly the kind of homeowners any community would want, and I fully support them and respectfully ask the board to consider approving this matter favorably. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jersey. So with that, the public portion is closed and returned over to the board for discussion and questions.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Watts.
So I'm not gonna repeat myself, because I know you guys were here. And, yeah, I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. I hear everybody loud and clear. Now, I don't know what they're telling you at the desk,
A lot of stuff.
but, and I understand that, I get it. But if they're telling you you can go for a variance, yes, you can. That doesn't guarantee you're gonna get it, and we have criteria that we have to follow that has to fit into. And that's where the problem is, okay? Now, I don't know,
Should we be aware of the criteria? Because maybe we could have addressed some of that stuff.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm
I don't know
sorry,
on that,
I-
but,
I-
I
I forgot.
I'm,
sorry.
because you know, I get it. And I don't know what the solution is, you know, I'm hearing your other stuff, but we're still in the same situation. I don't know what went on with the trailer. I had the same problem in my house. I got a violation for my trailer. You know, and I had to take care of it. But,
Can I say something?
yeah, it's
Actually,
just,
I'll just let it go.
I hear you, but we have the criteria we have to follow, and we turned down one, we
So you
actually
have to
turned down two.
Turn down them all.
And you have to turn down them all.
Can we know what the
So-
criteria is?
So.
You had it in your
he-
package, you wrote it.
it's-
Got
So
it.
Steve's got it. So,
Oh,
Steve,
hello.
did you have something you would like to address to us?
Yeah, I'll put this on the record. The criteria is that worksheet. That's what they have to follow. You have to have hardships that meet that criteria. Why,
So the questions we answered.
the questions you answered.
Understood.
That's part of the criteria.
Got it.
You have to meet that and go from there.
Understood.
So you have
Th-
to fulfill those, so.
Thank you, Steve, appreciate that. So,
Never had to
um,
do it.
I'm all set, thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Green.
again, the issue of, and I know sitting up here and saying, we gotta follow the rules and all that stuff doesn't do shit for you guys. Doesn't make you feel any better, doesn't make the situation any better. But we can't grandfather a law. You can't do it. You can't grandfather a law. I mean, it's just, you can't do it. So, well, you can't do it.
Can I
So
ask?
anyways, yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it's
Do you have a
okay.
que-
I'm
do
just,
you
I
have a
really
question?
would like to understand.
No, I'm gonna explain. Let me finish.
Oh, I'm
because
sorry. I thought you
can't-
said I could speak. I apologize.
That's, you're good. So, I don't think everybody being mad is gonna get us anywhere. I live in this, I don't work for the city, I live in the city. And what I've been seeing I'm new on the board, but what I've been seeing is people paving their entire front yards and parking 10, 12 cars in it on my street. And it's not one house, it's multiple houses. So somewhere along the line, whether you like it or not, we need to address the driveway issue. Now, whether or not you're not running the business, you don't have a bunch of people living in your house, but the more I sit here, the more I start to realize what's going on. We're gonna send this letter, and it's gonna get sent over in a timely manner. And so someone's gonna have to spend some time on it. And we're gonna ask some specific questions. So in the meantime, I don't think they're gonna be getting charged $1,000 a day.
But you don't
In,
think.
in the
That's a
meantime,
lot
well,
of
in the,
money.
also I don't work for the city. But all I can do is say, I want the letter sent, and we're gonna vote on it in new business, and we're gonna put the things we want. I wanna understand why there's all this confusion. Now I'm figuring out why there's confusion. Number one, there should be a permit for a driveway. And number two, Steve, I wanna ask you this question, if you can. Let me see.
Are we allowed to put a trailer in the backyard?
Try to be,
As long as it's on hard surface and in the rear yard, 5 feet from the property line.
Would the hard
10 feet.
surface be a driveway?
It could be cement pad.
so what,
doing here?
so, well, that's
I
what I'm
got
trying.
the paper that says no.
So we had a person come up and say that they spoke to the mayor, and I think maybe you're starting to figure the problem out. Read me? I think you're starting to figure part of the problem out, because this can be solved. My concern is, and with all due respect, Steve, to all the departments, what's going on? So this one person has a list, and I'm trying to be as nice as I can, and I'm not that nice, of all these cards of people who went out. You mean to tell me not one of those people, when the project started, went and looked, hey, excuse me, homeowner, but that's not gonna pass? Why did nobody say that? I'm trying to figure out what's going on, Steve, and I'm being nice. All those people, there's 7 cards on that one. Not one person looked at that and said, do you realize that's a violation of the ordinance, so don't do it? Everybody who we spoke to the last 2 months has come up here and saying, everybody said it was great. Everybody said we were cool.
Well,
And then
I
they get-
can't speak for the people that were there.
Then who can speak for them?
I don't know who the people
I
are.
want to know who can speak for them, Steve, because
They can speak for themselves.
Well,
I can't
no,
speak
who do
for
they-
any
wait, wait.
individual.
Mr.
I
Green?
wanna make a clarification.
I don't need a clarification. I didn't ask for a clarification.
Those cards pursuant to the homeowner, the petitioner, were given after, not before.
Well, when they came out for
Zo-
approval of their driveway, that was before the driveway was poured. And when they see forms wait, am I the stupid guy? And they've got forms put in, we've had multiple ones, Jennifer, of people who have forms put in, and they're told not to pour, or they're told they can pour, based on information they're getting from the city. I don't care when they got the cards or not, and you can protect the administration, because that's your job. But I've been sitting here listening to this for the last year. Something's not right. Something's just, where in this whole system is somebody saying that, who is in charge? Who's the person who's supposed to say, we're gonna take care of this?
I can speak for myself as a zoning inspector. If I go out, I'm quoting zoning laws. If someone has an electrical problem, I don't say anything. That's not me. I don't try to correct someone else's problem. If they have a building issue, I don't try correcting it. I don't know who those inspectors are. Engineering has inspectors. We have a lot of inspectors in the city. This is a zoning
Right.
ordinance issue, and we do not go out and inspect in the field for this type of thing. So, I can almost guarantee none of those 7 cards are zoning inspectors that know the zoning ordinance.
How many zoning inspectors are there?
We have 7 zoning inspectors.
Okay, and there's,
Yep, these are zoning.
Hold on,
That's
don't.
me. I wasn't out.
Wait.
I know, I wasn't out at your house.
Excuse me,
though.
Steve. So
Boring
there,
discussion.
here, petitioner, please don't. You're hurting yourself. So, that's almost all of them. And somebody in that group saw that this, whatever.
I don't know when they were out there. I know he has my card, and I know I was not out at this property. So, you can pick up cards at our desk
11
all you
years
want.
ago. All right, there's a problem, somewhere there's a problem, I'm not an idiot.
So.
Somewhere there's a problem, and it's not us. There's a problem somewhere, somebody's dropping the ball on all of this stuff.
I don't disagree with you on this,
Okay.
and I do think there should be some clarity, but the ordinance is what the ordinance
Because
is,
to be
and
honest
go
with
from
you,
there.
I'm getting tired of sitting up here and have people bitching at me because of something that I don't control, and then when I ask some people who controls it, everybody says, not me.
Well, I control part of the ordinance on enforcement, and I'll go
No, I
from
get
there,
it.
and I will put my,
I'll give you that much. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Lindsay.
I just want to make a comment. We all on the board, we hear the concerns that these citizens are having, but at the end of the day, whether you guys as homeowners know it or not, right? I'm not going to get into that. There is an ordinance, okay? There is an ordinance. You have to have a permit to extend a driveway past the garage line. That's the ordinance, okay? The fact that we're all up here and this is happening is because cement was poured and there is no permit for it. So when something is outside of the ordinance, it requires a variance. That is what we are here to decide, whether we will grant the variance or not. I don't know what led this whole neighborhood to getting cement poured without permits, whether it was contractors, whether it was people at the city. I don't know, okay? And that's where we can empathize with you guys. We feel bad. But our job is to say we don't set the permit. The permit's required. A permit wasn't pulled, so that's why we're having this conversation, okay? I'm not going to repeat my former comments. I think we've all kind of said our piece on these things. But I want you guys to understand the accountability has to be with the homeowner at the end of the day. Whether it's right or wrong, permits are required, permits weren't pulled, okay?
Can I just ask a question? It's just, I understand that
Unfortunately,
fully.
there's no question that was directed to you. If somebody has a
Okay.
question.
Yeah, I'm ready to move forward on this.
Mr. Lindsay, and I know what you mean, but no permits are required for the driveway.
Past the,
No.
Zero.
Zero permits.
okay.
So no one's coming out to inspect anything because there's no permits. I mean, while it is on the homeowner to know what the ordinances are and
Yeah.
how far they can go with their driveway, I agreed, but, only for engineering standards past the sidewalk is there a permit required.
Doesn't that mean we're free?
Yeah,
to do
past the
what we
garage.
do?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, yes, Mr. Watts?
If there's no one else, I'm forward, I'm ready to move
Was there
forward.
another comment over here or no?
I just wanted to add, that's why I was supporting these petitioners on a case-by-case basis, because no permit was required. It's up to the board to decide whether a variance is warranted based on the uniqueness or not of the property. This is another case where I think it's tastefully done. My problem with the driveway extensions are when they extend like in front of the front porch and on that side of the yard. This is just on the other side to get in your backyard. So again, I have no problem with this.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr.
real
Jersey?
quickly, just to that point, Mr. Safaya, I think, I can't speak on Mr. Cliff's behalf, but he brought up that point with the last meeting. You know, he was okay with it going into the side setback versus it going into the front setback. You know, two different animals, but Mr. Cliff did bring that point what you just raised up to at the last meeting,
Sure.
so.
And of course, it just depends on the uniqueness of the property. You know, each petition is a unique independent decision.
Mr. Watts, not hearing any other discussion or question?
I'm prepared to make a
Yes.
motion. My motion would be to deny, to retain the widened portion of the driveway that extends 12 foot 11 inches from the southwest corner of the garage toward the south property line. And the reasons are the same as the last, not a burden, it was self-imposed, property is not unique. It is a detriment, in my opinion, and it was not a necessary add-on.
Support. So we have a motion to deny by Mr. Watts and with support by Mr. Green for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Watts? Mr. Watts?
Yes to deny for the reasons stated.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Assessor?
Yes to deny for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes to deny.
Mr. Safaya?
No, the practical difficulty standard has been met.
Mr. Jersey also votes no. I believe the practical difficulty standard was met. Chairman Ostovich?
I also vote no. I think the practical difficulty standard was set. So unfortunately, your request was denied on a 5-3 vote.
Understood. You guys, I would recommend finding a different way to deal with it, because the news will be here, and it's just the most ridiculous thing. There is no point in taking $95 of your citizens' money when you already know you're gonna say no. Guys, have a good night. Thank you for your time.
This is number 11.
Item 11, applicant Wayncraft Incorporated, Representative Jason McFall, common description 32326 Exeter. Variance requested permission to allow a 4 foot 4 inch by 18 foot 11 inch 82 square foot covered porch to extend to within 22 feet 8 inches of the front property line, in addition to a 484 square foot detached garage and a 160 square foot enclosed patio in the rear yard for a total of 726 square feet of accessory floor structure.
My name is Jason from Wayncraft at 13525 Wayne Road in Livonia. And I'm here to get a variance approved for the replacement of a front porch awning on the house that was already there. Looks like it's been there from probably the 60s or the 70s. And then it looks to be like an existing rear hybrid sunroom type structure on the back that's got like a wood roof and then sunroom walls based on the photos that I had seen. That we did not do, but it looks like it's been there for quite some time. But we just wish to do the awnings for the family at this home, just basically as a replacement for what's already there, just to cover their porch and whatnot.
Thank you for that explanation. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Not seeing any, or turned over to the board?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Watts.
I want to clarify, looking at the photo of the home, you're replacing the awnings that are existing awnings?
Yeah, there should be I believe it's an existing front porch awning.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at, so you're
Yeah.
replacing those?
Yes.
So technically, there is no real change?
No, it's just gonna be the same
Just
stuff.
replacing them, okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Jersey.
If no other board members have anything additional to say, I'd prepared to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to grant the petitioners permission to allow a 4 foot 4 inch by 18 foot 11 inch 82 square foot covered front porch to extend to within 22 feet 8 inches of the front property line, in addition to a 484 square foot detached garage and a 160 square foot enclosed patio in the rear yard for a total of 726 square feet of accessory structure floor area, due to the fact it's not a detriment to the area and the size and shape of the lot.
Support. So we have a motion by Mr. Jersey, with support by Mr. Assessor to approve the request for the reasons stated.
Mr. Jersey votes yes for the reasons stated in the motion. Mr. Assessor?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Watts?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, for the reasons stated.
Mr. Safaya?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
And Chairman Nestovich?
Yes, for reasons stated in the motion. Your request has been approved.
All right, thank you very much.
Takes us to item 12. Applicant Stephen Paris, Representative Stephen Paris, common description 21308 Sunset. Variance is requested permission to allow the dwelling to be used as a two-family residence in a R1C zoning district.
Start with your name and address, and then.
Hello, my name,
And your request.
Hello, my name is Steve Paris. I live at 21308 Sunset Avenue. I've resided there since 2018. I'm coming to you guys today because I purchased a home that was built in 1954. It was built as a two-story duplex, so it's almost a nearly identical footprint on the first floor and second floor. It has 2 electric meters, 2 gas meters, 2 electric panels. It has 2 boilers, 2 completely different, separate units that can't be combined without spending an exuberant amount of money to reconfigure the home. I purchased the home in 2018. The person who I purchased the home from, he purchased the home in 1989. In 1989, he had canceled the contract with the people who were renting the home. The home has been a multifamily unit rental since 1955. It was built that way. I purchased it with that understanding that it was a multifamily unit. I live there. I've lived there since 2018. I do not rent out the second floor unit, but to modify the home would be extremely expensive. To not modify the home would waste almost 1,000 square foot of space in my home that I purchased and paid for. And I'm coming here today because I'd like to keep the home as a multifamily unit because the home directly behind me is a triplex. The home 3 doors down from, or 5 doors down from me, because there's 2 empty houses, is a duplex. There's about 40 rental properties on my street and the street behind me. And I have no intention on renting the home out, but I did, like I said, I did purchase the home with the opportunity to be able to do that. But the home is not properly allocated as a multifamily unit in the city of Warren. But like I said, there is 2 kitchens. There's 2 completely separate units. They're identical. They're not side by side. They're up and down, first floor, second floor. So there's a completely separate furnace system run up to the second floor to the first floor. Like I said, there's water heaters, everything's separate, plumbing's separate, everything's completely separate. And so the city is saying that they would like me to remove the stove from the second floor to make it not a multifamily home, is what I've been told. After all my electrical on the first floor, there was a smoke damage fire to the home, so that's kind of what brought this up. As I'm renovating the home with no insurance money, because 10 months later, State Farm has yet to pay me any money on this home, well, anything above $50,000. So I'm personally footing all these bills myself. I ran all new electric wire, I ran new gas, completely repaired everything on the second floor, everything's been approved. And then the city is coming to me and asking me to demolish the second floor unit and just make it an empty voided space, or spend probably approximately $200,000 in renovations converting the home. I don't have $200,000 for renovations, and I didn't buy the home with the understanding that it was 2 separate, or 1 unit. And personally, at this point, I couldn't afford to modify the home to be 1 unit. So I'm basically asking you guys to grant me the permission to adequately zone this home for what it was built as in 1954. That's what I'm here for today.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Not seeing any, or close the public portion and turn it over to the board.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Watts.
So I have a question.
Yes, sir.
When was the second doorway installed?
The second doorway?
Yeah.
There's a total of 4 doors on the home. There's 2 doors. There's a door on the second floor to a balcony, a safety balcony that was built as a fire escape in the event of emergency on the second floor. There's a side door entry that's a combined join unit. So the side door in the driveway, you can enter the basement, the first floor, or the second floor through that. And then the front door, there was a door privately leading to the second floor with no access to the front door, to the front. During this process, I pulled a permit. I pulled about $5,000 in permits to the city of Warren to add a second door to the front to make it easier to get furniture, so I don't have to go and take my couch, my massage chair, my refrigerator, anything through the dining room window to get it out of the home. So I'm just making it an easier access.
Okay, so you installed the second doorway?
I personally just added
the
the
front,
second floor,
okay.
yeah, last week, or second door. So it makes it a total of 4 doors now.
Okay, and you bought the home, but your intention is not to rent it as a duplex?
I'm not gonna rent it as a duplex, it's not, that's just what I bought the house as.
So you're gonna flip it?
No, sorry, I've lived there since 2018, I reside there, I have no intentions on moving until I move to like maybe Almont or something one day, maybe when I have enough money to purchase 5 acres for $400,000.
All right. Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Watchpoint, I got some questions. Do we have any records on this dating back as a duplex, as a rental, or anything like that?
It has never been a rental duplex. It has never been approved any way that we could find. As far as the permits, I would have to go look into that, but that still wouldn't have been a permit to allow it as a duplex. That would have had to go through you guys to allow it as a duplex and/or be rezoned by the planning commission.
Okay, so, then the next question, all permits have been pulled for what he's doing, correct?
I am not sure on all that. I know there was some enforcement for the electrical service release that there was some enforcement for. I don't know if it's been pulled or not.
I see
by
that,
now.
yep, I see that. And then,
I would have to do the research.
Yeah, I had pulled permits for 2 new panels, those are all installed. I pulled permits for 2 new riser poles, 2 meters, 2 outside service disconnects. All that's been coordinated with DTE to make this process happen. Everything, all roughs are passed, all the new installations installed, the drywall's in the front yard waiting to be installed.
okay.
So all rough permits are completed at this point and paid for.
Okay, so I'm looking at the other enforcement issues with trailers and vehicles and stuff on the lot. I drove by there, as I do with everything we get in the packet. Are we into code on that stuff, do we know?
I have not been by there recently. I don't know if you saw any trailers or anything. There is
a trailer parked in the yard, and that's because that's storing all the contents of my home.
And I kind of assumed that, so, okay.
I was actually
And we
given
do allow
permission by
that.
that.
Yeah.
So I have 2 trailers on the property, and that's because the contents of the property and what was salvageable was in those trailers temporarily. So.
Okay, I'm all set if anybody else got anything, so.
I have actually a quick question for Steve. So
The other Steve.
The other Steve, the guy with less hair. So
A
Steve,
little more than you.
I know. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. So Steve, is that whole? He brought up a good point about other houses on that block. Is that whole block R1C, zoned R1C?
I believe it's R1C or R1P.
Okay.
And if he gives us those addresses, we can start looking into them for enforcement and go from there.
Gotcha. So I mean, because he claimed, I just wanted to make sure. You know.
State for the record, the one is 21150 Sunset Avenue. It's got 2 porches, 2 doors, 2 separate electric panels. I've actually been in the backyard because I helped my neighbor cut down their tree during the storm and hauled it away for free for him.
Well, the thing is, you're gonna have to probably just email Steve those addresses on the side. You know, we're not gonna air dirty laundry right here, but yeah, I mean,
they're legal property. They're
Sure.
legal tenants. I just
So
I went down and asked, and they couldn't tell me. They couldn't tell me individual addresses. They had no way to look it up, individual address, because I actually wanted to show you guys, hey, in this 1 square mile, we have 54 duplexes, you know, or whatever the number might be.
Well, that's
But
kind.
they
That's
couldn't tell me that information. Itemized home.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. I was like, is this kind of like one of those subs that's kind of piecemeal, kind of together? We got multi, and then you know.
I haven't been in the field in a while. I'm not sure if it is. I know it's not. There's a couple on the south end on the east side. He's more on the west side, so I'm not sure if this street is. Most of the ones I've been to over there are single family, I believe.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Steve.
Any other questions or discussions, or not, any motions?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Lindsay.
If nobody has any questions or other comments, I'll make a motion. I'd like to grant permission to allow the dwelling to be used as a two-family residence in an R1C zoning district due to the fact that the property is unique and it's not self-imposed.
Support.
So we have a motion by Mr. Lindsay, support by Mr. Safaya to approve the request for the reasons stated.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Safaya?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Assessor?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Watts?
Reluctantly, yes, for the reasons stated.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Jersey votes yes for reasons stated in motion. Chairman Ostovich?
I also vote yes for reasons stated in motion. Your request has been approved.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate your consideration tonight.
Takes us to item 13.
Item 13, applicant Ferris Golan, Representative Ferris Golan, common description 26247 Shaner. Variance is requested permission to operate a private business office within the home exclusively for the administrative and record-keeping purposes of a driving school with no employees or clients visiting the property.
Good evening. My name is Ferris Golan. I live at 26247 Shana Road. The reason I'm here today to request approval to use a small portion of my home located as I pronounce it, 26247 Shana Road, Warren, as a private office space, strictly for administrative and record-keeping purposes. And please note the following. There will be no customers or clients will visit the property. No signage will be displayed on site or property. There will be no impact on traffic, parking, or the residential nature of the neighborhood. The space will be used only by myself for office-related work. This request is solely to maintain proper records related to my business and will not involve any on-site business operation or public interactions. Please let me know if any additional information or documentation is required to process this request. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this item?
Hi, my name is Susan. I live next door to him. I don't have a problem with him doing business in his rental home.
Can you actually
Oh.
state your full name and
Oh, I'm
address?
sorry.
for
Susan
the record?
Corey. I live at 26235 Shannon Road in Warren. I don't have a problem whatever he's doing in his rental home inside of it. I just, because we share the driveway, my dilemma is I want to make sure my kids are safe. I don't want people to come over, like students, you know, traffic. But whatever he's doing is his business. I just don't want to. I want to be able to get in my driveway and leave, and I don't want a lot of cars. So he's saying there's not going to be people, but happen if that he does not comply with the, you know, whatever he's saying. So that's all.
Thank you for those comments. Not seeing any other audience members, or close the public portion of the meeting and turn it over to the board.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Watts, then Mr. Jersey.
So,
yes, sir.
If you're running your business out there with the office and stuff.
Yes.
Where do you meet your clients at?
I go pick them up from their houses and drop them back to their houses. Strictly training.
Okay.
I am licensed for teens and adults, but right now I'm only training, so I'm not conducting any classes or anything, just training. So I'll go like, that's why I'm applying for a provider for the state of Michigan. I've been doing this since 2000 for over 26 years. So strictly training, pick them up from their houses, drop them back to their houses after the training. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, sir.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Jersey.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So, just a couple questions.
Yes.
Are you the property owner?
No.
So, this is a rental?
Yes.
The other thing, so it's a driving school, so do you use your own, I'm trying to understand where.
Yes.
Because most driving schools have their own cars, or is this just
Yes, I have
you
a-
using your own car?
I have a 2024 car. It's gonna be approved by the state. Of course, they're gonna pay me a visit to inspect the car. I install a brake on it. I'm gonna have a $1 million liability on the car, proper insurance documentation. Like I said, already the brake is installed with the proper company. And after the approval of the city, then the state will pay me a visit to inspect all that. They need to see, that's why they need to see a desk. I have a small room, have a desk, computer, a locker with the key on it. That way I can put all the students' documents in there, it's secure, and that's it.
So, just for my own information, where do you keep the car? Is it on the premises, or you keep it off premises?
Yeah, my car is in my driveway, yes.
So this driving school car is in your driveway then?
Yes, but I'm gonna have a portable sign. So let's say when I go to training, I'll put the sign. When I finish my training, put the sign, take the sign, it's magnet. So take it off, put it back and, put it in my trunk. Like I said, we'll be conducting no business with any students whatsoever affect my neighbors or anybody else or the traffic, like I stated in my notes.
Here's the one thing the kind of slippery slope I see. I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
because you're here just looking for, to use the home as exclusively for administrative and record-keeping purposes.
Yes.
Where you have actual property regarding the driving school itself on the premises, whether it's a car, whether it's whatever, that's kind of already, my concern is forward thinking, your business grows, okay? And you do exponentially well, okay? And you purchase 2 cars, now 3 cars. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I also, no offense to you, but I just have a hard, did you clear this with the property owner?
Yes.
You did?
He signed it already, yes.
You signed it okay?
Yes.
And, again, I have a hard time, not that I don't believe you, but I mean, if, said property owner was here, trying to illustrate it a little bit better, that would carry a lot more weight. I have a hard time having petitioners, people renting a property come and fighting for that, a variance that's gonna go with the property forevermore. We grant this, it goes with it forevermore. It's not just for the duration that you're there. So that creates another kind of slippery slope for us as well. So those are just my concerns. I wish you nothing but the best and success as an entrepreneur, but those are just my initial concerns.
If you allow me to explain.
I don't have a question, so I apologize.
Mr. Green?
Mr. Wattront, so maybe Mr. Jersey answered my question. So if we approve this, it's a rental, and the rental sells, the house stays as a house where you can run a business out of?
It would stay as a house where I believe you can run the way it was written. It's not any business. It would be specific to how it was written. I didn't bring the form with me.
So specific to a driving school? Oh, okay.
Just the administrative part of it.
It would be, and I did talk to the gentleman, we went through what his plans were and everything else. To operate a private business office within a home exclusively for administrative record-keeping purposes of a driving school, with no employees or clients visiting the property. That is the variance that is before you. So it is, we do try to restrict it when it comes before you.
So if it sells, someone could move in and run a car business or
Could run a driving school, administrative and record-keeping purposes only.
Okay, thanks. That answers my question. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Can I just add a comment first? See, the issue I always have is that slippery slope where, this petitioner, says there'd be nobody visiting and all that sort of stuff. But if this stays with the property, there's only room for like 1 car in his driveway. He shares a driveway with the neighbor, so nobody should be parking there ever getting in the way. And he's located on Shaner, which is a main street with a lot of traffic. So you can't park in front of the house. I just worry that it's like, you know, this is the kind of situation where I could say, oh, that's what we have a driveway extension or something. You know, so the issue I have is about taking something that is a residential neighborhood and allowing a non-residential use in a residential house. So that's my concern. And Mr. Safai, you said you had a comment?
I echo the same concerns. I am a little bit relieved with the pretty specific description. Perhaps we could put a caveat that there's just one. I guess I have the question from the petitioner is the vehicle you use for business, is that also your personal vehicle?
Yes.
Okay, so there's
Yeah.
just one vehicle.
Just one vehicle. And by the way, if you allow me, my driveway, I think, holds about 3-4 cars if you line them up, just like my neighbors. So, but like I said, only friends visit me, and I never had any problems. But like I said, in my business, there will be nobody visit me for this.
Your household just has one vehicle?
Yeah, I have only one vehicle.
Does anyone else live with you, other vehicles?
No, I live by myself.
Okay. I mean, perhaps we could add just that there's one vehicle related to the business.
I think with that, then you start getting into the fact of actual property towards the business. You know, I think Steve worded it pretty creatively.
pretty tight already.
And good, yeah, to tighten that up, you know. I figure if we put, I mean, we could put one car on it, but I just think it kind of defeats the purpose of what you tried to accomplish, Mike.
Actually, Brian did it. I gotta give him credit when he does something good.
So, I mean.
With that, I'm okay with it as written. It is pretty specific.
Just for your information, if you had a business and you only did work at home, bookkeeping wise, whatever, and nothing was brought there, that is an allowed use under the ordinance. The fact is that he's got the car there now, and he also needs the state approval, which we have to sign off on for that business. So if the restrictions are there, it makes us be able to sign off as well as puts it on for enforcement, so.
It's really no different. I mean, I have an office, but I take my work home. I work in a bedroom I have set up as an office. There's no clients there, just administrative stuff. So that's a good point, Mr. Watchmont. If there's no other comments, I'd like to make a motion.
Mr. Chair?
There's Mr. Green.
I think there is a difference in the sense that the ordinance is pretty clear. Operating a business from a residence is not a permitted use in R1C, and I think that the definition is different than me or you or someone, in my mind, working at home as opposed to running an actual business out of there. And the fact that it's a rental and the fact that it could sell means someone could come and be aware of the fact that you can run a used car thing out of there, not used car, driver's school thing out of there. I'm uncomfortable with allowing people to run businesses out of their residence. So I'll be a no vote. Thank you.
Any other comments from the board, or?
I was going to make a motion, but I think Mr. Safire, you were going to, so please do.
I'd like to make a motion to grant permission to operate a private business office within the home exclusively for the administration and record-keeping purposes of a driving school with no employees or clients visiting the properties due to not being a detriment to the area.
Support.
So we have a motion by Mr. Safaya, support by Mr. Lindsay to approve the request for the reasons stated in the motion.
Can I ask a question on the motion?
Oh.
Yep.
Yep.
So where do we go with enforcement from here? He adds a car or students start coming to the location. How do we deal with the enforcement?
It would be a violation of the ordinance granted, and we would do it as we do other enforcements.
Okay, thank you.
If he adds a car, I don't know if he's married or multiple
No, I
people
get it.
there, but if there are 2 vehicles there, that would not violate it. If there were 2
Understood.
vehicles and they had the signs on it and they're advertising there, obviously, he can't advertise there either. There's certain restrictions with that as well.
Okay, I just want to be sure. Okay, thank you.
Roll call.
Mr. Safaya?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Assessor?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Watts?
No, I think we're on a wrong path.
Mr. Green?
No, it can be used as zone.
Mr. Jersey also votes no. I believe it can be used as zone. And Chairman Nestovich?
I don't like having businesses in residential neighborhoods, so I'm going to vote no also. So unfortunately, the request did not pass with a 4-4 vote.
Correct.
And you needed 6.
Okay, thank you.
Takes us to item 15. Home Depot HD Development of Maryland Incorporated, Representative George Ostrowski. Common description 25879 Hoover. Variance is requested permission to operate seasonal outdoor sales in the following area. 1, Area 2 of the approved site plan measuring 40 feet by 130 feet, 5,200 square feet from 5/1/2026 to 8/31/2026. 2, Area 3 of the approved site plan measuring 20 feet by 125 feet, 2,500 square feet from 5/1/26 to 12/31/2026. Total of 7,700 square feet of seasonal outdoor sales per the site plan, per the plan.
Thank you. George Ostrowski, I'm a landscape architect, excuse me, with Noack and Prowse Engineers, 4677 Woodward Avenue, Pontiac, Michigan. With me also is Mr. Dennis Sanders, the Home Depot store manager, available for questions should anything come up. Clearly, the application pretty much states it. I know there's been an ongoing approval process with Home Depot requesting outdoor sales areas on site. It's a function of today's large retailers. This store, as old as it is, I believe the first outdoor sales dates back to 2009, and subsequently the store has been coming in to re-up those uses seasonally every year. The seasonal consumer demand for plant and landscape materials in the spring and fall, these demands exceed the store's capacity to house these goods, both the plant materials and then the larger landscape materials like mulch, soil, and concrete and the like. Very specifically, the request sets a time frame within which the goods would be stored outside. I think item 2 or area 2 is an area that's sort of cordoned off in the parking lot. The other area, area 3, is an area up close to the existing garden center that would be primarily used for outdoor plants. With that, I would be happy to answer any questions. I'm sorry, if I could just add quickly. On behalf of the planning department, we just, as a matter of fact, yesterday submitted a revised site plan. I know the plan that I believe is in front of you was done so long ago. The planning department requested that we submit a current site plan which identifies some potential additional areas that the store would be looking for to maybe store in the future. If the planning commission approves that, there is a potential that we could be back before this body for a similar use permit. But again, that hasn't, we just submitted the plans yesterday. It has to go through the whole planning process. So.
Thank you for that explanation. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the audience wishing to speak on this item? Not seeing any, or close the public portion. And Mr. Jersey, do you want to read the back statement from planning?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Per Ron Worth, the planning director, After review of the request, no issues were found to impact the budding local or general public. The variance request matches areas number 2 and number 3 of the approved site plan that the petitioner received for a minor amendment to the site plan for permanent outdoor sales area to Home Depot on February 25th, 2019.
Mr. Chair.
Okay, turn it over to the board. And Mr. Green, you want to start?
Yeah, I have a couple questions. So if you look at from the I got the minutes from the last go-around with Home Depot, and there was 1, 2, 3, 4. And at the end of the day, nothing happened. And my question is, when I would ask Mr. Waterpon about, no, I don't need you, I'm talking about the minutes from last year. We didn't have the ability to enforce because nothing got done. So we're back up here again today, and my first question was, I want this to be temporary, not permanent. That would be my, I would like whoever makes the motion to add that as a condition, that's my opinion. And secondly, with all due respect, you knew you were gonna be here today, and you applied for a new site plan yesterday. So, you see, you get my.
I understand. The season currently is a huge, economic driver for Home Depot. There's, actually, it probably started in the beginning of April, but to not allow outdoor sales now, our planning commission date isn't set until July 13th. So assuming, we're 2 or 3 months from that, the money that is lost in that time window because you can't store, outside is the primary driver. We discussed this with, I discussed it with planning staff prior to submitting this application. Like, we just want to be transparent with the board that we are, submitting the site plan revision. We could submit, very well could happen that the plan could get approved and they don't decide to act on it until the following year. But that's not my decision.
And I know
That's their
again,
corporate decision.
For us, for me, does that put us in a situation again where we have no enforcement, what's the word I'm looking for, no enforcement options?
What?
Do you understand, you get what I'm saying?
I understand you completely.
All right.
So I'm going to try to clear it up for everyone. What they are coming for today is what they had a site plan approval for in 2019, I believe.
I saw that.
For the seasonal temporary sales in those 2 locations. They go beyond that, enforcement can happen. And I've talked to the manager who's here, and he's well aware of it. He actually has done a great job and cleaned up a lot of the stuff that was there when we first sent a notice to reinforce it after you guys denied it last time. So he is working on that. He's relatively new there. He wants to work with us. That's why they're going through a new site plan, because they would like to have some storage in the back, some racks back there and stuff like that, which if they do, they'll have to come back in front of you. This is only for the temporary storage in the 2 locations that basically had been there before they expanded and created a lot of that you had seen in the last couple of years.
And again, I guess my concern is that we went 4 reschedulings last year. In my brain, I would have applied for, I don't know the process, a site plan, different site plan, way previous to this, because it would appear then, when this new site plan is approved, are you gonna come back for more outside sale area?
Possibly.
That's what it seems like is gonna happen. So, because we've done this. So I'm a little bit concerned about, what's the right word, intent?
I can
guess.
tell you this, when it was denied last time, we started the enforcement, and this gentleman cleaned everything up. He thought he didn't think he could go back. And that's probably why some of that was delayed. He met with me at the office shortly after. I said, yeah, you can go back for the site plan. You were denied for that, so we'll have to change what your request was. But you can go back through the site plan process. I know that they didn't want to do the permanent stuff, so if you go for the temporary, you can go for that now too, based off of the last site plan that was approved.
Yeah, that's me. I prefer temporary. Dennis, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
So, in the back of the building, last year, when it's all stalled out with Home Depot, one of our concerns was there were storage containers back there behind the building, and that was outside storage that wasn't approved. Are there still stuff?
So there was one of two. So number one was they had a storage container they would keep assembled grills in. We no longer have that. I turned that off. We're not getting those. I know at 1.2 our break room got remodeled, that back area. So for 2 weeks, it was a storage trailer, which the people doing the work there were supposed to get a permit for. We did not know they didn't.
Was it the brown one?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That
So
answers
that's
my
gone.
question. All right.
If I may, I've been with the company 31 years. Home Depot is a great company. We have a great partnership with the community. That's why I was brought to the store. I've been there a year. When I first got there, I saw the condition outside, what it looked like, everything. Working with the city, with Steve and everybody, we did get it cleaned up, and that is our goal going forward. What we're proposing hopefully keeps it more clean and organized, but realistic. I'm in the peak of my season. So our Memorial Day ad breaks tomorrow. I'm in the thick of it, and I cannot maintain what I have inside. Customers are getting upset like crazy because we cannot keep enough trucks because it turns and burns so quickly. It's a weather-driven business. I mean, we've been getting rain and cold. We got 80 degrees this Sunday. Who knows what it's going to be like? The reality is, with the plants and stuff we sell, I have to have some kind of outside storage. No other company doesn't. You look at Lowe's, go drive them. You look at Menards, Walmart, everybody. So we're trying to do it. My commitment is I will continue to work with you guys, follow whatever is put in place, keep it clean, keep it organized, going forward. We want to have a good partnership. There's been something in the past between Home Depot and this. I want to fix it. And that's what I'm here for. And I've done everything I can so far in 1 year to try to fix that,
all
so
I
that we're
gotta
both
know.
successful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair.
Yes, Mr. Lindsay?
I would just make a comment to the board. I totally get it. I was here last year, seeing kind of this specific store, playing some sort of games, who knows, but we never really got to see the request. I'm actually very happy that you're here, sir, that we have something in front of us. I drive by this every day. I work down the street, a ways down, but I drive past this Home Depot. It looks a lot better than it did a year ago, so thank you for that. I would definitely be in favor getting something on the books that said this is what the plan is. They have to stick to it. If they come back, so be it. We'll hear that request. But at least this gives zoning something to follow to. You guys have to have some sort of outdoor space, so I'm definitely in favor of this request.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Jersey.
I kind of have to say the same thing that just Mr. Lindsay said. It's really cleaned up, especially on the east side of the building, which was an absolute disaster. It was multiple pallets and stuff. It was just, to me, it was a big eyesore. I think the sticking point last year was, I think Home Depot came to us, and it did have that permanent language in there. And that was, the biggest sticking point with us, making sure that the way it currently looked, which was a disaster, didn't permanently exist. So this is, I think, one of the site plans, the newer site plan when I got on the board. As long as you can adhere to what you're saying in areas 2 and 3, I think that's a good thing. I know a point of contention too was the residents behind you. So when you're doing your site plan, when you're doing your revision or whatever with planning, just taking into consideration that property owners to the west of you. I know storing on that side of the building too, depending on what you're storing, became a problem in the past. But yeah, I could get behind this plan, and as long as it does say seasonal outdoor storage, we can put just put seasonal and not permanent, into the motion to satisfy some. It does have dates, but yeah, I think this is a very good plan, and thank you for cleaning up the debacle that it was. So I'll yield the floor to that.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Stefano?
I agree with Mr. Jersey. I think this is a very nice site plan. The only thing I see missing, maybe you don't have this, I haven't been to your Home Depot this season yet, but aren't there usually plants and hanging baskets and lawnmowers by the entrance to the?
So right now, we don't have any of that. That is part of the site plan that we're looking at maybe in the future. We've cut back. We stopped carrying fence panels. We stopped carrying tractors. There's a lot of things. We don't carry arborvitaes. It's hurt us quite a bit in sales, I'm not gonna lie, customers also, they're going other locations, but to be within ordinance where we're supposed to be, we've had to cut back. We don't have any lumber outside, no concrete, we do have some mulch and soil out there right now, I mean, we do need it. I sell probably 2 truckloads a day easily of soil and 2 truckloads of mulch, so it's gotta rotate in, but it's all been rotating, none of it's sitting out there for a number of time. So we're taking that all into consideration. My goal is to keep a good clean soil outside all year round, get it in by 4th of July is my goal. I know we asked for a little bit more, but that's my personal goal, to have it all inside again.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. I have
Mr.
no
Chair.
other comments.
Okay, yes, Mr. Watts?
So, I know that that store is a small store. And as much as you're trying to do there, it kind of overpowers everything that, you know, you've had out in the lot. I've seen all that. And I know the size of the property. Is there any thought that perhaps you guys could build another building in that, like, outlot back towards,
That's kinda over my head. It's been brought up a couple times,
mean-
by some people, and we have submitted that. There's been talk about a lot of things to do with it. It's an odd layout, that second lot, very odd. I don't know what the thought process was a long time ago. I don't see it happening truthfully, but that's beyond me. I mean,
Just-
we submitted it in.
it doesn't have anything to do with approving it.
Yeah, no.
I'm just thinking out of the box. Because you know, what I don't want to see is Home Depot say, we've had enough and we're moving.
Oh.
You know, I don't want to see an empty
We're here
building.
for the city of Warren and the people. We're not
You
doing
know,
it.
so, and I know you guys support a lot of stuff, so I haven't been by there lately, but if these guys say that it's been cleaned up, I'm good with this.
If I could add one other thing we've done, so when I got to the store, we didn't know the process, and that was the I'm sorry. One of the things we done, when I got to the store, we didn't know the process, when to apply, there was other people working on permits. We've actually went through and worked with our regional team to set up calendars, times, and when we need to do things. So we're keeping track of all this, so next year we know when to come up, when to apply, what to do. I think that's the biggest thing. When looking at the paperwork, you see all these different store managers over the last 30 years. There's 30 different names. I mean, we change, we rotate. I'm not planning to go anywhere, but if I do, the person that comes in next time will know what to do. I think that's a big part. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fair enough.
Any other questions or any motions?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Watts?
I'd make a motion to approve the variances to operate the seasonal outdoor sales in the following areas. Area number 2 of the approved site plan measuring 40 by 130, 5,200 square foot from 5/1/2026 to 8/31/26. 2, area 3 of the approved site plan measuring 20 by 125, 2,500 square feet from 5/1/26 to 12/31/26. Total of 7,700 square feet of the seasonal outdoor sales per the plan. And the reason is, I don't see where any of this is a problem. It's not a detriment, so support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Watts, supported by Mr. Jersey, to approve the request for the reasons stated.
Mr. Watts?
Yes, for the reasons stated.
Mr. Jersey votes yes for the reasons stated in the motion. Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Assessor?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
And Mr. Safaya?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
And Chairman Estovich?
Yes, for reasons stated in the motion. Your request has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Have a good evening. Takes us to item 16, which is new business, and we do have 3 things to discuss. First one's simple. Who's going to appreciation dinner on Monday?
I will not be attending.
Okay,
Mr.
I
Assessor.
plan on being there too, so. Okay, that was like the easy one. Second, Mr. Green earlier tonight talked about us wanting to have a letter sent regarding the driveway expansions. And so, Jennifer, I got a question. So, could you assist with the wording of that letter? Maybe we could then be able to review something at our next meeting on the 27th or so? If we, because
So-
I'm thinking, because what we want to do is state to the council, this is a problem that we're seeing, it's not gonna be going away, and to maybe get some direction or, because,
Well, what I'm thinking is, if we send the council explaining that we've had many driveway complaints, and Steve told me he'd get a number for us from last year.
I do not have that ready today.
Oh, I know. So, okay. So, with a number that says how many we've had, because there's a couple ways to deal with problems like this. One of them is to let what happened today keep on happening. And then somebody's gonna have to do something, because it's already become a problem for the administration. So that's one way to solve it. The other way to solve it is to send a letter, look at the ordinance to see if there's anything that needs to be changed. I'm not sure that there's a lot of wiggle room on changing it in ordinance, but that's just me. And see why there are no, and ask why there are no permits for driveways and things like that that we discussed, that we thought about. And then, hopefully, they will then send the letter over to planning, I don't know, that's the procedure, and then, or whatever it is, but it needs to be done before we get, we have a lot of mad people at us for whatever reason, but it's become a problem.
If there is an amendment to the ordinance, that would have to go to planning.
Right, so whatever the process is, but I think we need to be proactive and send the letter, sooner than later.
I guess, in my opinion, I think you should vote on what you would, you guys can hear me. Okay. In my opinion, I think you should vote to send the letter with the items that you want included. The Zoning Board of Appeals has seen X amount of petitions regarding the specific ordinance. Can you please direct whomever planning to review it?
Put a moratorium on enforcement for until.
Yeah. Can you direct planning to review it and, possibly require permits for the driveways to?
That's not, so, Mrs. Chair. So.
I thought that's what you just, and maybe I misunderstood.
No, it is. I'm just talking about when Dave said a moratorium. I don't know that, when you say a moratorium, so we're doing enforcement right now. So let's talk this out, so we can figure this out. So we're doing enforcement right now. And some people think that, everybody has different opinions up here based on what they see in the ordinance. So we're doing enforcement. So these people that were here tonight, they're gonna be tearing their driveways out?
That's what we voted on, yes.
Okay, so there's two ways to get action. One is to make action happen by denying everybody who comes up here, and we didn't create that. I heard the comment that we didn't create this. People paved their entire front yards. That created it, and then neighbors turned to neighbors and created the issue. So I'm just not sure the moratorium thing is.
I think that moratorium would be on the enforcement, because I would hate to have somebody while this is going on being hit by $1,000 fine.
We've already done it, though. So,
Well, that's
you see, this is what we're in. We've already done it. We've got people who've spent thousands of dollars tearing driveways out already. So we tell them, that's why we have to expedite kind of quick. I think the letter should say, and I'll make a motion that we send a letter to council, and then we can have more discussion after my motion, but send a letter to council explaining that we've had many driveway complaints, and Steve will give you a number, in the last year. Please look at the ordinance to see if there's anything that needs to be changed, or are there any ways to help solve this problem, and possibly implement permits for the driveway portion to eliminate confusion, because that seems to be a big part of it. I think people are confused. They think when they get the one thing. And anybody else, add to the letter. Go ahead. I mean, if you think a moratorium's a good idea, add it to the letter.
I don't like the idea of requiring a permit for the driveway, though. I think that just makes it more complicated and burdensome and costly for the homeowner.
Well, it's not very clear.
I think
It's not clear for a homeowner, because when you think,
not.
what they're asking for a variance against is the yard use thing, and if you read this, nowhere does it talk about a driveway in it.
So,
You mean, oh, I'm sorry, you mean the original the original ordinance? It's as confusing as, it talks about ornamental, and it's really kind of.
Believe me,
Kinda
I
goofy.
have mixed emotions about the permits, because I just did my roof. And I got a permit for the roof, and the only inspection they did is he came out and he walked around. I mean, he did give it a good look, and that was the inspection. And so be it. I mean, I played by the rules. I did a shed years ago, I played by the rules. Did siding, windows, all that stuff. I always play by the rules on that. But here's the problem. And that Ms. Burt that was here, that we turned down the last time. This is where the people are playing the games with everybody's mind. They go to the city and they say, I'm replacing my driveway, do I need a permit?
And they say no.
You don't need a permit between the curb, between the sidewalk and the house. But you need for the approach or the sidewalk. So they go and they do it, and they widen their driveway. And that's not replacing their driveway when you widen it. That's not replacing it. You're adding to it. And I think this is where the permit plays in. And in particular, the guy that turned everybody in, he had a stop order. Specific stop order, who's told. And I think she had a stop order too, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure.
You know,
She did.
and I don't like the game these people are playing. And here's what else I don't like, is everybody gonna move into the neighborhood and they're like, oh, Mr. Safai, he's got a nice little extension on his driveway. I think I'll do that. But I'm gonna add another foot, you know? And, you know, in my particular situation, I might add 50 feet for my fifth wheel, you know? And it's just people are just gonna continue to do this if there's no permit and there's no enforcement. And it's obvious we have no enforcement in this city at all. You know, I mean, all these driveways should have been caught if we had all due respect, Steve, if we had enough inspectors.
But at the same time, the letter we're penning to council is, hey, find a solution for this, or one size fits all, rule.
I don't think I said that.
Well, council has to vote on a rigid rule or an ordinance update.
Well, what do you think we should do, Dave?
I think that this board should evaluate each one and determine if it's tastefully done, if it's oversized, if part of it has to come
Well,
out.
that opens up the problem. So the new ordinance is tasteful?
No, I'm saying that we have an ordinance now. Anytime someone goes over and above the ordinance, the purpose of this board is that they come to us and we decide if it's justified or not.
So,
But see, the issue I have is like, the ones that are so old, like, put in 11 years ago and stuff, part of me would like to be able to say, certain ones, like, past a certain time have been like, what, I use the term grandfathered in, because it's been in there. I know one in my neighborhood that was out there 40 years ago.
I have it in my neighborhood.
And I'm like, it's been like that for 40 years. If you go and tell that person that they have to tear it out now,
So let me give you an example of something that's going on. You guys probably heard about this. 'cause
I don't
turned
know
it in.
yet.
But on Hayes, between Common and 14 Mile, as long as I've ever lived there, some people have gravelled or cemented between the curb and the sidewalk and parked their car there. And I get it. I hear those accidents on my street, and that's not a pretty sound. I get it. Nobody ever complains. Now, with the population is changing, people are moving in, and now we got people parking their Jeeps on their front lawns, up by the porch, there are ruts in the front lawns. It's a mess on Hayes over there, and nobody's added any concrete, they no longer keep the gravel clean, it's just grass growing up through it, and they're parking in it, and more ruts. This is the problem you have when you let people do this kind of stuff. It's never been a problem in all the years I've lived here, and in the last 5 or 6 years, it started changing, and it's a mess. The city is a mess. I go out and I look, me and Mr. Green and Mike, we've been out a couple times together, and I've been doing this when I was on council. I go look at all of this stuff. And I see all of this stuff going on, and it's like, and this is what causes the problem. You give a variance because, it was okay. but then the guy down the street, he sees it, he does it. Well, his is not so tasteful. I mean, I had this, not you guys, it was when Karen Purdy was on it, but guy put up a fence, I thought I was living in a pig farm. That's what it looked like, a fence on a pig farm. And I couldn't do anything about it, there was no enforcement, because the ZBA passed it. And guess what? It made the neighborhood look horrible, everybody was complaining.
You know, I think that one guy made a good point, that one person that came up and said that it's not 1955, I never really thought about that people have more cars now.
Well, they're wider too. Think of.
Well, yeah, I
They're
never thought of
bigger.
that. I thought that was a good point. All the more reason for the ordinance maybe to get relooked at, but.
When I started in the zoning division, we only allowed it the same as engineering, to the edge of the
Door.
garage door. We've expanded that as a policy to go to the edge of the garage. So we gave that extra room because of these cars being larger. A couple other things I want to clarify. Grandfathering is not a clause used in zoning. It is non-conforming. No one would ever tell them they should be grandfathered in. I've heard that from many other ones out there. Grandfathering is not a term used by zoning inspectors. There was one other point. Oh, permits. We have a fence permit that's $25 for 100 feet. It's our cheapest permit. It is basically a internal review to allow that. We do not do outside inspections. And I think this would fall under something like that. If we had a driveway permit, it would be an internal review and go that way. And the cost is not up to us, it'd be up to the council, but
I totally missed what you said. What?
we have a fence permit right now. It's our cheapest permit. It is an internal review permit. So we review it when it comes in. It's $25 for the first 100 feet. If we approve it, they have their permit, they put it up, nothing else. If there's a complaint on it, we go and do an inspection like we do on any other complaints. But we do not go do a physical inspection on that. So if we did something like that with the driveway permit, that it's an internal review, it should be a minor cost, because I know I heard cost up there, just a nominal fee, that it gets internally reviewed to meet whatever ordinance, if they change the ordinance going forward. That way it would require the permit and everything else. Administratively, we do work on it, so, you know, $25, whatever, $50 fee, whatever gets charged would be charged, but that'd be for council to do it, but that would be a way where there would be no scheduled inspection, but if they don't comply with what is drawn, it's in violation just like anything else that's out there.
So you bring up a good point, Steve. So when I was there and seeing you when I got my permit, lady in front of me was getting a permit for a fence. And she was all about, there's no way I'm putting the good side outside. So if she gets a permit, there's no guarantee that she'll do it right. There's no enforcement unless there's a complaint.
Or someone drives by and sees it
And now,
inspector-wise.
and this is not your guys' fault, because somebody made the rule of no inspections. So now here we are, that's why we have all these fences that look like they are.
Well, that ordinance went into place in 2013. Before that, it was legal to have it the other direction.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
So I just want to do what the board wants. If you guys don't want to send a letter, Nicole, you guys?
something up now.
Well, but if we can use the other technique, and I'm fine with using the technique of letting it fester to a boil, and then something's gonna have to happen. It's almost there.
You can,
I mean, it's one guy over there was not a happy camper.
you know, I mean, my suggestion is if we don't want to do anything in haste, bring back the ideas for the next meeting. I mean,
The only problem is there'll be 4 people here at the next meeting that we're gonna, you know what I mean? And I felt,
I think the next meeting's a shorter meeting, so.
I hope so.
My
No driveways
apologies.
next meeting.
Sorry. All you're doing, no one's acting in haste. I mean, this is just getting the ball rolling. Send a letter, start looking into this because it's a problem. And the details can be worked out later. I mean, it's for council to work out, it's for planning to work out. I mean, they're the ones that
The
have to vote
attorneys?
on it.
To write if the ordinance changes.
Whatever you say. So no, I mean, if you guys want to get the ball rolling, I think vote, send the letter,
I think I got
and the
something
details will be
for us.
worked out later.
I think the letter should be very simple, that's
I got
all.
something for us. What do you?
I think it's just,
Okay.
I think it should say that we've had a problem, look at the existing ordinance,
I've gotten something written up. You wanna hear it?
I guess. No.
Then that-
Yeah.
then just-
I've lost,
then
no,
just-
I've lost my motivation because.
Okay, guys, so this is what I came up with to send the council. You send them a letter, Ms. Pierce, stipulating review ordinance section 4.06 regarding yard use to include review of the issue of driveways being poured without a permit and requiring a permit to pour a driveway, and making clear the restrictions about pouring into the front or side setbacks. Period.
Sounds good.
I like
I
that.
don't, don't think it says what we're, I'm just, I don't think it says what we want.
What do you
want
wanna
them-
add to it?
Well, I want them to know that we've had, that in the last year, we've had 25 driveways come to us, and it's something that needs to be looked at, and that's pretty much it. I mean,
We've been kind of all over the map as far as, granting them and not granting them, even before you guys are on the board, like.
I didn't, yeah, I wasn't aware of that, so.
Mike,
Yeah, the letter should state, hey, let's look at this and, to state, not a specific, oh, we had 50 over the last year, we've had many over the last year, and we still got many to come. Please look at this. And maybe ask, while you're looking at this, can we put a moratorium on these inspections, or, if you do asking for a moratorium, maybe put like 6 months until something comes about.
That can be for council to decide.
yeah,
Mr. Chair.
that's something the council could decide. Yes, Mr. Rutz?
So, where are we on enforcement? Because I know a lot of things have been turned down in the last year, and I'm gonna start keeping a record. Because I don't see anything changing. Where are we? What are we doing? What's happening?
As far as enforcement, we gotta, again, go through the process. They do have an appeal process, everything else.
Who's appealed to?
Circuit Court.
Okay.
So if it starts there, it could stay the process, and I believe we had one. I'll ask our city attorney. I believe we had one that did go through the appeal process with Circuit Court and was denied at that point. And then we started enforcement by issuing a ticket, or giving them a 10-day notice again, because that had passed, to give them time to reach out to us and give us a time period. So if they reach out to us and say, we're gonna change it, we're gonna do this, but we need a month to do it, we do a letter of responsibility with a hard date. If it's not taken care of by that time, tickets are issued, we go to court. If they fail to do it by that time, a second ticket would be issued. We would continue the process. I have not gone to a misdemeanor yet on this, but it is possible that it could climb all the way up to a misdemeanor.
So, like these people tonight, they're not in fear of this immediate $1,000 a day
No,
fine?
no. That is our standard letter. For the most part, people do come in and are worried about it and come in and talk to us. The first ticket per offense would be $200.
Okay.
Second offense would be $400, and then the third offense would be $1,000, as far as our blight violations. Now, if they have multiple offenses, it'd be $200 for the first one,
Okay.
and so forth.
All right, I mean, I'm not heartless when it comes to these people, but they have to understand that somebody created the problems, and at some point, you either stop it or you just let it run rampant, so, I appreciate you explaining that.
Okay, I think I got something. I added a couple things, or added one little thing, so. So I came up with to send the council over a letter. Ms. Pierce, I'll rewrite this with you because my chicken scratch, you probably can't read this. So we'd like to review. Thank you. So per ZBA members, I'd like to make a motion to cast a vote to send a letter to review ordinance section 4.06 regarding yard use to include review of the issue of driveways being poured without a permit and requiring a permit to pour a driveway and making clear the restrictions about pouring into the front or side setbacks. In addition, would respectfully appreciate any additional suggestions or recommendations council may have. You can read this. Good luck. I know, I kind of went, yeah, I know.
No, you can read this, it's okay.
You good? So that's my recommendation letter, and I submit that to the board to vote on.
I make a motion to accept that.
Support kind of motion or? Okay.
Motion to send that letter I just read into the record over to council.
Yes.
And support by Mr. Assessor.
They're not gonna do anything.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Anybody opposed?
No.
No.
So the motion was approved.
Unanimous.
Before we get a motion to adjourn,
Well, we have one more item.
Oh, okay.
I
No,
have
go
another
ahead.
item.
Did you have?
Nicole has 3 kittens in the office back there, if anyone's interested in the kittens. They're all very cute.
No, thanks.
Wouldn't that come under announcements? We don't have announcements.
No, we don't have announcements.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
The one other item.
Oh, did you have, go ahead.
The one other item for new business is last meeting, we received the bylaws addition for what we talked about postponement and adjournment and stuff. I don't know, did everybody have a chance to review this?
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Green.
So when I brought this up, I think we need to look at this real close. So what's the process here? Are we, when will this come? We'll have to vote on it. Are we just hashing through it right now for a while, or? Because, for example, when you guys read through this, like, we asked for 7, 8, and 7, 9, things that were in reference to adjournment of scheduled hearings. And what we got was 2 pages of ethics stuff that we didn't ask for. And if you look at the ethics, when you get a chance and go home, because it's getting late and we won't have time to do it, I find 10.11 offensive. The ZBA and its members shall not intrude into the management of the City Planning and Development Services Unit, whatever that is. Members of the ZBA shall communicate with the city staff through the ZBA's designated staff liaison, whoever that is, unless otherwise authorized by the city administration, and shall follow applicable city administrative policies. Where did that, I don't understand where that came from, and why we would, keep in mind, these are our rules that we make for ourselves. So we're gonna neuter ourselves by passing a bylaw that says
I think that already exists.
We didn't ask for any of those.
The only thing that's changed is the stuff in green.
No, go to your book of bylaws, buddy. All this is different.
The only stuff that has changed is the stuff in.
No. I went to the bylaws online. This whole thing is different. Nowhere in the bylaws online does it say the ZBA and its members shall not intrude into the management of city planning. Or show it to me.
There was a request from council.
Please stop screaming at me. Excuse me, Mr. Chair. One time you stood up today and screamed at me in the middle of a meeting. So please stop raising your voice at me. I'm just trying to get this figured out.
My apologies, I was told that no one can hear me.
Well, it'll help when you stood up.
This document was sent to council at their request for things that are missing in rules of procedure and bylaws, and the attorney's office reviewed every single commission. Ultimately,
There is nothing in your rules of procedure dealing with conflicts of interest. These particular provisions were taken from a sample document drafted by Michigan State University. So
Well, that's obvious.
ultimately, this was requested by council. I did.
Okay, whether council requested or not, I appreciate that designation, though. So I want board members to look at this, because these are not council's rules, they're our rules. They're the rules that we live by. And I'm uncomfortable with 10-11. How about this one? Like 10-12, for example, members shall conduct themselves in a fair and courteous manner. Okay, I agree with that. But to go on, you have to read it, because I think that you too will think that these are a little bit of a stretch. I think people should read it close, and again, these are our rules, not city council's or anybody else's, and I'm not looking for a pissing match with you, Jennifer. I'm just trying to make sure that the documents that we do are finalized. I'm not looking for a pissing match with you either, David. I just want to make sure that everybody understands each other. And I do not appreciate that you stood up in the meeting and screamed at me. So, and you're gonna hear about it. I don't appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Watts.
I got one item. I watched the planning commission meeting, as I always do, because there's a lot of things that goes on at that planning commission that is gonna end up here. So I always want a clear picture of what's heading towards us. And the other night, there was a, on the agenda, letter to the ZBA about comments that were made at our previous meeting. So I sat there and I watched that meeting for 3.5 hours. And they received and filed it. I want to know what that letter said that they sent to us.
Do we know where, do we know who or where that letter is, or any idea? Nicole, did it come to our office?
I mean, I went back and watched our meeting, the part that it was that they had originally said it was gonna, in regards to, and I couldn't see anything in there that was a problem. And then and all they did was receive and file a letter, so I don't know what it says. They said they sent it to us, and I'd like to know what they're accusing us of.
I'm thinking, would they have sent it to the council office, or?
Yes.
Fair enough. Thank you.
So I had one question, going back to this ordinance proposal. Under 7.8, where the petitioner is entitled to one adjournment for good cause shown, the petitioner may request one adjournment of a scheduled hearing. No more adjournments will be granted. So in the case of use variances where we don't have a full board, and they have, the right to have a full board for their thing, does this is that a conflict with this, or is that?
The use variance, I mean, everyone's entitled to have a full board. And forgive me, because I'm not gonna remember the particular section of the bylaws, but that is one reason if the board fails to give the petitioner notice that they could adjourn it because we don't have a full board. That's one reason for reconsideration by this board. I mean, it's not, am I making any sense?
Mm-hmm. You are.
I mean,
That's
we don't have to let anyone have an adjournment. It's just it allows the board to reconsider and undo what they did. I mean, typically, the board's decisions are final when made. If we failed to give notice to someone that we didn't have a full board for a use variance, that's a reason to say, oops, it's not final, we're gonna redo this.
Thank you, Jennifer.
So and just as an example, this is why I think we need to look this over very closely, people. 7.8, I think it should say, for good cause shown, the petitioner may request one adjournment of a scheduled hearing. No more adjournments are granted, period. But nowhere in 7.8 does it say, do we put it on the next agenda? Or do we remove it, or do they have to reapply? So we just need to we need to have this be a working document and kind of work through it and make sure it says what we want it to say. That was my only point. I wasn't trying to. And the other stuff, it's new to us because it's not in our bylaws right now, so.
So do we want to take the time between now and our
It
next
could
meeting?
take a long time.
Everybody can just review it again?
Yeah.
And then for the next meeting, we can come,
I don't think it's anything we have to solve in 2 weeks, but.
No.
we haven't
I
had
think
this in
we
a
take
while.
our time and do it right, and make sure it's what we want, so.
That's all that I had. Did anybody else have any other new business, or?
Just one thing, there is part of those sections in the conflicts of interest that I think would be very beneficial, directly related to a situation which many of you are aware that occurred, where ZBA members went out and identified themselves as members of the zoning staff, identified themselves as people who didn't have authority to be there and do what they were doing.
I'm not aware of this. When was that?
We can talk after. I don't,
Was it our board?
yes.
Okay, interesting.
And also, there was another instance where a member of the zoning board of appeals was sitting on the front porch with a petitioner and got into a pissing match with the neighborhood. So a lot of these rules are necessary so that you maintain
Yeah, and you
the appearance of impropriety.
And you documented all this through investigation, or?
100%.
Really? Good to-
100%.
Good to know. So it was a secret to the rest of us?
I will talk to you after. It was,
Okay.
Mr. Green, I believe it was before you joined us.
Okay, I'm just curious. I'm like, what the heck? I want to say, Gary, you got to stop.
Mr. Nestorovich, if I may?
Yes.
Can I request that the attorney send a copy of the draft as it's proposed to administration, my boss Everett, and to council office, so they have a copy of it to review as well?
The rules of procedure?
Yeah.
Yes, and again, I want to make myself clear. This board asked me to do something.
I understand.
Council asked for a review of every single commission to see maybe what was missing and what could be updated, and I tried to.
And I
throw what was in
appreciate
there.
all that,
So,
but
look
I'd
at
like
it.
to look from the administration part if there's anything
You
that
need
I
to be
could
cha-
suggest or
absolutely.
be aware of, so.
Absolutely.
That's all.
There are bylaws, not the administration's.
We'll vote on them.
But if there's something that conflicts with ordinances, we gotta make you aware of that.
In a bylaw?
Yeah, there could be.
Really? God, I'm learning every day.
See, you're never too old.
Never
Yeah.
too old.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Support. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, meeting adjourned at 9:59.